Here we go. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving. Steve Sparky Fifer with you as we broadcast live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Charlie Usen across the way. Lots going on today. Charlie's second job it'll be a profitable night for Charlie tonight at the bar, right? Bartending. What time are you bartending tonight?
I'm 6 to 10. I'll be there right
that's
after.
Not bad. You're not even working to close.
No.
Oh.
Well, that is closed technically. 11 is like when closers leave. Like we close the building at 10 tonight.
Why? Wouldn't you stay
open
earlier for tonight?
Do I look like the boss to you, man?
You want to be the boss because you know you should be open to like midnight at least.
Well, I don't want to be open to midnight personally, Sparky. I would prefer to go home at some point. It would be nice.
There's no chance on this night when everybody's out drinking and whatever else. They say it's the busiest night of the year to go drinking.
It's usually, I will say, like our place, the beers tend to be a little bit out of not everybody's range.
Aren't you debuting a new beer tonight?
We are a barley wine. Do you even know what a barley wine is?
Nope.
Exactly. So it's not like a Coors Light or a Natty Light or anything. So some people have different tastes. So it not always is the most profitable.
There seems to be like a lot of foo-foo stuff y'all have over there. Is there a lot of foo-foo stuff?
It's a craft brewery. I don't know.
I guess.
The food is just pizza and burgers. That's
I know. Yeah, I went there for pizza the one time, you remember?
And it was packed.
And we were like, yeah, this ain't going to work with the 3-year-old. Well, at that point, she was like 1 or 2. I was like, yeah, no, we got to go, Charlie. Sorry. But yeah, Charlie doing his thing tonight out and about. Coming up, Lomas Brown, former Lions All-Pro offensive lineman, and they're on the, semifinalist, right, for the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. He's at that stage, so we'll talk to him coming up at 2:20, get his thoughts on Packers and Lions. I don't know what this botch moment is at 2:40, but I see my guy Bob Nightingale is mentioned, so I'll find out from Charlie what that's all about coming up at 2:40. Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com, another friend. Of course, he was with the Wisconsin State Journal for a long time, Badger Blitz. Now he's went off and started his own deal, BadgerObserver.com. We'll talk to him about the Badgers as they get ready for Minnesota coming up this weekend. Green and gold updates, always at 4 o'clock. We'll get to that. And rumblings and rumors of Zach LaVine and possibly the Bucks. And we'll get into that a little bit at 4:20.
Got some news from Adam Schefter a little bit ago. Josh Jacobs has no injury designation for Thursday against the Lions and is good to go.
Yeah, that's good. It's not as good as the other kicker getting released. That was the.
Why were you so? That's so mean to be so excited about that. It's so rude.
I said, listen. On the Mason Crosby show earlier, Tommy broke the news. I raised my hands off and said, thank goodness that is over with. That I'm very thankful at Thanksgiving that dude's gone. Now, listen, I then said, not that he's out of a job. I hope he goes and kicks 60-yard field goals on another team in the NFL. I'm just sick of talking about the dumb position. I'm sick of talking about two kickers back and forth. Man, you just paid McManus all this money. Just have some faith and let's go. Finally, after all these weeks, they finally had some faith and let's go. So happy Thanksgiving to Mr. McManus, because now he doesn't have to listen to all this drama anymore either.
He better not come out after this game tomorrow and say, I wasn't feeling 100% if he misses a kick or two in a dump. That would be really unfortunate after you cut your second kicker.
Better not hear that from the broadcast crew on Thanksgiving either.
Nope.
McManus says he's about 50%. We're going to see how this goes. And Haversack's at home having turkey watching this going, could have been me out there kicking. What are we confident in? What are we concerned about? And what are we curious about concerning the Green Bay Packers going into the game against the Lions? Normally we do this on a Football Friday when they play on Sunday. But since they play tomorrow, we're doing it today. What are you confident in? What are you concerned about? And what are you curious about with this Packers team? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. We had Jeff Rieger on from 97.1 The Ticket earlier in the Mason Crosby show. Dan Orlovsky talked on the Pat McAfee show, and I played that back in the 12 o'clock hour. In fact, you know what? I'll play it again right here for you. Dan Orlovsky is a guy that is a former Detroit Lion, loves the Lions still to this day, right? Always talking up the Lions. He said this on Pat McAfee.
Lions are concerning. Their offensive line's not good enough right now. Not good enough.
No. Yeah, no.
Going back to same old Lions?
Are you saying this year or just like in general, you don't know if they're going to be able to find it again? Is it because Ben Johnson was kind of maybe covering up for their offensive line, or is it Noah Ragnow is maybe the big problem with the Detroit Lions offensive line? Is it fixable, or is that just you got to deal with it this season type thing?
Yeah, I mean, the interior of their offensive line is a concern. It's not good enough. They will not win a Super Bowl with the interior of their offensive line playing this way.
Year, man.
Ragnow's a concern. Yeah, Ragnow's starting to rear its ugly head here. This is what I would say is you have a quarterback that when you protect him, he could throw with anybody. But now the protection has fallen off. I would tell you, I have no idea what the numbers and statistics and analytics. It looks like a bottom 5, bottom 7 pass protecting offensive line.
What?
And no Laporta. Like when Jared got pressured, it was Laporta. Where's Laporta? Where's Laporta? No Laporta with a bad pass protecting offensive line. As much as it kills me to say, I just don't see it for Detroit.
Can the real Jared Goff stand up? Can the real Jared Goff stand up? Because now y'all see what this dude was doing with the Rams and why they decided to move on. And now, regardless of what Orlovsky says, I love Orlovsky, Ben Johnson did a lot to put that dude in comfortable situations to take pressure off of Jared Goff. He gets a lot of praise for that. Now you're on your second guy calling plays in Dan Campbell, and he ain't helping Jared Goff either at this point. Gibbs is averaging 3 yards in 2 years against Jeff Hafley's defenses. He struggles more against his Packers defense, I think, than any other team he faces in the NFL in the last couple of years. You know they're going to come out and try and run the football with Dan Campbell and try and win that way. The problem is, as you heard Orlovsky say, the interior of that offensive line is not very good. The last time they played them, the Packers had a sack fest in the fourth quarter of that game because that Lions offense got worn down, and they were healthier then and in a better position then. So what am I confident about going into this game? I think I'm confident the Packers are going to get somewhere in the area of 4 or 5 sacks in this game. I think that's what I'm confident in. Because while the tackles are the strength of the line, Micah Parsons is not just a lineup outside. They will bring Micah Parsons running right up the middle, and let's see what they do with that. I mean, you could literally have Micah Parsons and Edgerrin Cooper both run between those center and guard gaps, and let's see what they do with both those guys coming up the middle. There's no way they're stopping both of them. Or Devontae Wyatt's coming untouched or whatever. That's going to create big problems from a communication standpoint. And they really haven't shown that on tape at all, I don't believe, all year have the Packers. You really can get aggressive against this Packers offensive or against this Lions offensive line that is having issues. The Packers offensive line also has had issues. But the weak link there in Jordan Morgan, we think, I don't believe it's been confirmed yet, because he didn't confirm it yesterday, Matt LaFleur. We think that our guy Anthony Belton is going to get a chance to start here, hopefully, against the Lions tomorrow. And hopefully we will have some of those issues erased by getting Morgan out of that starting lineup. So I guess I'm confident that this Packers defense is going to get home and hit Jared Goff a bunch in this football game as this football game goes on. Maybe they don't get there early, but they're going to get there eventually and put a hurting on Jared Goff. I guess that's what I'm confident in going into this thing. What are you confident in, concerned about, and curious about? Nicolay Law talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 on the socials at WI Sports Radio, streaming live on X and on YouTube. Come follow along with Charlie Usen and myself. Charlie, what are you confident in concerning this Packers team?
I'm going to head over to the offensive side of the ball with this question here, and I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs is going to score a touchdown in this game. And I'm confident Emmanuel Wilson will score a touchdown in this game. I think Matt LaFleur is going to find a way to get them both involved in this one. Josh Jacobs just now gets cleared to play in this game, which means he probably hasn't been working in full team reps until these past 2 practices, most likely. This is a situation where I think you're going to have to see Emmanuel Wilson on the field. And if Anthony Belton is in that right guard, if Sean Ryan can stay in that center, if we can have the same offensive line that we finished that game with on Sunday, I think the run game should be able to be just as explosive as we saw, maybe even better with a full week of practice with both these guys rotating in at running back.
Charlie, before I get to the calls and text messages, which team needs to control the ball more?
The Packers.
I disagree. I think it's the Detroit Lions because their defense is so god-awful bad right now. I think they're the ones that are in more dire straits here. If they go 1-2-3 punt, 1-2-3 punt, 1-2-3 punt, they're going to be the ones in further bigger trouble because that defense is not as good as the Green Bay Packers defense at this point, especially when Jameis Winston and the Giants put up over 500 on you. That to me is the bigger thing. If you look at both and go, who really needs to establish the run and keep that clock going? I think it's the Lions.
I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, if you've watched this team under Dan Campbell, yeah, when they're playing worse opponents, I feel like they try to just manage that clock a lot more. But I think in games where it feels like he has more pressure on him, he's really boom or bust with the way he calls his offense. So they're set up to punt, but then score 3 straight quick touchdowns right away like that too. The Packers, what we've seen so far this season is that when they can determine the game speed and the tempo of their offense and the other team's offense, they win out almost single-handedly every single time. This is a situation where the Packers have to go in and once again play a good team where they have to control the clock and control the tempo.
Asking you confident, concerned, and curious. Packers versus Lions here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Let's go to the Nicolay Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Jason, Southern California, you're next. Here with me, Steve Sparky Fifer. What's up, Jason?
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm in Southern California, but I'm originally from De Pere, so go Redbirds.
Oh, nice. Why did you move to Southern California?
I couldn't afford college, so I joined the Marine Corps, so got that knocked out.
Marine Corps, yeah, that'll change your life, I would imagine, and for the better. So thanks for serving there, Jason. What do you got? Confident, concerned, and curious.
So I'm confident the pass rush is going to be there. But I'm concerned if they go max protect that they might expose our corners. And I'm curious to see how much runtime Josh Jacobs gets. And also curious about LVN. Where the hell has he been? I know he played a few snaps last week, but I haven't heard anything about him.
You know something? When we talk about this Packers team, what do we always say, Charlie?
What do we always say, Sparky?
There are certain guys that we don't talk about, right?
Well, LVN is not on that list.
But Marshawn Lloyd is on that list.
Yes, he is.
And with all due respect,
what's up with Marshawn Lloyd, man?
Nothing's up with Marshawn Lloyd. You're as close to playing as he is at this point.
No, he's on the sideline. He's running around over there, Sparky.
I could get Jason a press pass. He could be on the sideline running around, have just as much a chance of playing as Marshawn Lloyd at this point. Van Ness tried to play last week. And then hobbled off, and I don't think he's going to play this week with a foot injury. LaFleur said they thought he was ready, and clearly he wasn't. Shocker this year with the Packers that somebody came back before they were ready and got re-hurt again. Yeah. It's been happening all year.
I could name a kicker. Yeah.
Yeah, McManus, right. We do that all over again. Yes, thanks for the call. I mean, we've been doing this all year. This training staff, I'm not going to say y'all stink, but y'all are doing a horrible job of sending guys back out when they're not ready. Horrible job. Like, if I'm Ed Policy, that is conversation number one when this season ends. And I don't care if we win the Super Bowl or not. I want somebody or some people to explain to me how time after time after time this year, they send guys out and they get either re-injured or aren't ready and get to come back out again.
So in that hypothetical conversation you're talking about, is Matt LaFleur sitting next to Brian Gutekunst, or is he sitting next to the training staff? Is he getting yelled at with this too? Is he part of the problem in this situation that they need to fix?
Well, see, this is the thing I don't know. I'm just being honest. I don't know who hires them. I think that's a Goody thing. I don't think that's a LaFleur thing. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll gladly say I'm wrong, but I don't think that's on LaFleur. Coming up next, Lomas Brown, former Lions All-Pro offensive lineman. Looking forward to talking to him. He's also a semifinalist on the Pro Football Hall of Fame latest list that they put out. So we'll get his thoughts on Packers and Lions straight ahead on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Sports Talk on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, presented by Paramount Plus. Can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. We're doing Confident, Concerned, and Curious, and we are efforting Lomas Brown, a former Lions All-Pro offensive lineman, on the semifinalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame to join us here in a little bit. And we are doing Confident, Concerned, and Curious for this Packers team. And I want to have a couple of text messages that we got in here as well. 414, I would love to see Goff get jacked. Yeah, well, I don't have anything against Jared Goff. He doesn't get on my nerves. Have another one here from the 414. Yeah, get in Detroit, have like 90 defensive snaps compared to Green Bay's 45. Yeah, there was a lot of defensive snaps. There was a shootout with them and the Giants that eventually went to overtime. So they're definitely going to have the more tired legs and more beat up bodies coming into this game than the Green Bay Packers. Another one here from the 920, which is not an Illinois zip code. And this says, the Packers will get beat. They're not that good. Go Bears. From the 920. How in the world are you a Bears fan living in the 920? Somebody explain that one to me.
Some people can be smart too, Sparky. Not everybody's dumb,
man. You know? Yeah, I get if you're in the 262 area code, right? And you moved across the state lines because cheaper taxes, and that's why you moved into Wisconsin. All right, I get it. I also get that a lot of those people down in southeastern Wisconsin, some of them are Bears fans already. A lot of Bears fans in southeastern Wisconsin. I understand that. 920, man. Come on, man. How does that even happen? Like, I get if you're in Duluth Superior, there's Vikings fans. All right. I understand that. And there's Gopher fans that support that twerp PJ Fleck. I understand that too. I don't understand Bears fans in the 920. I struggle with that one.
Well, maybe some people's parents just grew up in Chicago and then maybe moved to Milwaukee at some point and then raised their child to be a Chicago Bears fan.
Yeah, the 414 texted back again, the one that said he wants to see Jared Goff get jacked. Sparty, don't get me wrong. I like Jared. I don't want to see him get hurt, but we need to bring some pain. I agree. That has to be the deal here. All right, so we'll continue on. Confident, Concerned, and Curious. We did Confident. You can jump in as well as we do Concerned. Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250. On the socials at WI Sports Radio. Follow us live on X and YouTube as we stream it. Or you can stream us as well at wisportsradio.com for the audio version of this versus watching us on video, which may be your preference once you see what we look like. Charlie, what are you concerned about heading into this thing?
Heading into this game against the Detroit Lions for the Green Bay Packers, I am most concerned about, I think, the momentum that they've built up over the past two games. I know it's been two poor teams that you've played against, that you've gone out there and taken care of. At least the Vikings you took care of. The Giants was a little scarier at moments, but it was still a game that you ended up winning. That you go into a game here where you are ahead of the Detroit Lions in the NFC North, where you have two games of momentum behind you, and you flounder in Detroit on Thanksgiving, and it kind of turns that momentum around again on you guys. And you kind of have to find an identity again, because it feels like to this point over the past couple of games here, you started to see this team become more comfortable with what Matt LaFleur is putting out there, with what Jeff Hafley is putting out on the field. This is a situation where I think a lot of people's heads could get scrambled if they don't perform up to the level that I think they've set for themselves, which isn't an issue for this Packers team. I think they can come back from that. It's just that I don't know if everybody on the team believes that.
I look at this and I only have one concern, and that is the ability to stop Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I know I said earlier they're only giving up like 3 yards per carry to this cat. History says they're going to stop him. But I don't think that the volume to which Jahmyr Gibbs is probably going to get the ball is comparable to any other game they've seen Jahmyr Gibbs into this point. Jahmyr Gibbs normally is like 12, 13 carries. I wouldn't be surprised if Dan Campbell tried to give that cat the ball 25 times and really try to force feed this to get him going. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Can the Packers hold up in those situations? I mean, realistically, what you want is get out to a 14-0 lead, make the play caller Dan Campbell panic, and start letting Jared Goff winging it all over, abandon the run, trying to get back into the game, which he probably will. And then you're in a great situation because then you pin your ears back and you go get Jared Goff. What you don't want is that first drive to be Jahmyr Gibbs rushes for 75 yards in the opening drive. The Lions pass twice and the Lions have a 7-0 lead. That you do not want. You do not want them to build confidence early in the game that they can run the football on you, Charlie.
So in his career against the Green Bay Packers, Jahmyr Gibbs has a 4.1 yards per carry on 54 rush attempts.
That's against the Packers, not Jeff Hafley. I don't care about that. Jeff Hafley, the last 2 years, that defense has owned Jahmyr Gibbs. He's done nothing against his defense the last 2 years.
3 of the 5 games that he's played.
Correct.
So that's a majority of that playing time there. If you look at some of the other teams, so the Bears in 5 games, he averages 6.2 yards per carry with 392 yards. Vikings, 5.2 yards per carry with 390 yards. 2 games against the Chiefs, 4.5 yards per carry. This is a guy that the Packers seem to have figured out a little bit here. The one thing that concerns me a little bit about Jahmyr Gibbs isn't really, I guess, his rushing ability, but the receiving ability for him out of the backfield. And with your linebackers potentially getting healthier in a game like this, with that Jaron Cooper still being young and kind of over pursuing occasionally, if Isaiah McDuffie isn't getting as much run as we saw last week and some other guys are rotating in there, I'm worried they could burn you out of the backfield with the pass game, not really with the run game.
Jahmyr Gibbs, first game against the Packers, September 28th of 2023, 8 carries, 40 yards, 4 catches for 11 yards. Second game against the Packers in 23, 54 yards on 11 carries. So both those games, about 5 yards per average. And that's not Jeff Hafley's defense. 4 catches for 19 yards. But again, both of those games didn't top 100 yards, minimal amount of carries. Now you get to last year, Hafley's first year as coordinator. First game, 11 carries, 65 yards, almost 6 yards per carry, 1 yard or 1 rushing touchdown, 1 catch for 11 yards on 2 targets. But remember, that was a train wreck of an offense, and that game was ugly for the Green Bay Packers because their offense didn't know what the hell was going on. So remember that they pretty much had control in that game. Then you come back to the second game, and that was December 5th. And he has 15 carries for 43 yards and 6 catches for 30 yards in the December 5th game that year. And then this year, opening game, he had only 9 carries in that first game against the Packers for 19 yards. So this year, he's averaged 2.1. Last year, the second game, he averaged 2.9. That's why I say it is critical to make sure you keep him under control. Now, he's never rushed for more than 65 yards against you, but that is definitely going to be how they want to do this. They're going to try and run the football.
And I think that's the way they kind of have to. This is a team that in a game against the Green Bay Packers front 7, where they're going to be coming all out at you, like you were talking about for your confident there, you have to find the way to get the ball into the hands of your playmakers. And that's Jahmyr Gibbs, that's David Montgomery, and that's Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are the 3 guys on the field right now that you have to find a way to get the ball to. And so far, you have to get the ball to them on the ground. Even Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's screen passes that he's getting a lot of his top targets on lately. This is a situation where if the Lions have any chance to succeed, it's getting those guys out into space behind the line of scrimmage and finding a way to work there. And that's really hard to do against a Green Bay Packers defense that can fly around, but if they over pursue, they can put themselves into bad positions.
Let's talk about that for a second, since you brought this up as far as essentially tackling, not missing tackles and doing your job. The Packers defense has missed just 8.6% of their tackling opportunities, according to Next Gen Stats. That's second lowest in the NFL. Second lowest. This is a team for years under Mike McCarthy, missed tackles all the time. Under Matt LaFleur, missed tackles all the time. And we as Packer fans would be livid. And we always said, well, maybe it's not the coaching. Maybe it's the players. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe you got to switch talent and so forth. I don't know, man. Maybe it was the coaching. Because you see the dramatic difference we've seen now from this Packers defense tackling. And again, players have obviously changed too, but they simply don't miss a lot of tackles.
No, and that's why yesterday I was pretty confident about a win for this Green Bay Packers team in this game. There's not too much to be concerned about in my mind, despite the fact that the Detroit Lions have a lot of talent and they've been well coached in the past.
Yeah, no question. So that is concerned. What are we curious about heading into this game, Charlie?
I'm curious to see if Jordan Morgan rotates anywhere but right guard in this game. I'm curious to see
better not rotate at any position.
You don't want to see him
Belton.
at all.
It better be Belton. I'll see him. Yeah, he could be on the bench giving guys water and stuff, but I don't need to see him on the field. No, absolutely not. I don't want to see him rotating. I'm going to be mad if he's rotating with anybody.
I kind of want to see him at left tackle as soon as possible. I want to see him in some kind of role to see what you have in a player like this against a team like the Detroit Lions that could be a powerhouse for the next few years.
You want to see Jordan Love get hurt. Just get to it, right? Let's put him out there and see what happens against the Lions on Thanksgiving, which for most of the years has been the Detroit Lions Super Bowl, if we're being honest, because they've been a putrid franchise for so long. Now they've turned it around and they're going in the right direction, but I got a feeling Dan Campbell's going to put it right back where it started. Having said that, I'm curious going into this game to see if at any point Matt LaFleur is going to try to change pace in this game. Try and speed up that vulnerable Lions defense to get going in that 2-minute offense in the middle of the first quarter, early in the second quarter, right? Get in that hurry-up offense, no-huddle offense to throw that Lions defense off even more. I mean, they're struggling already. You can really put them in a blender if you can get them now having to try and communicate on the fly, not being able to switch personnel, getting them even more tired at that point, and not knowing when you're going to run hurry up versus when you're not going to run hurry up. The one thing about this Packers football team is they haven't really shown that all season long. That ability to switch pacing up at different courses, at different parts of the game. Part of that, to me at least, has to be Matt LaFleur trusting Jordan Love to run it. Because we know Matt LaFleur isn't going to get the plays in enough time probably to make this work the correct way. Not on a consistent basis. He apparently, I don't know what his deal is, but if it's me, it's, hey, man, this series here, Jordan Love, this is your series. Go run the 2-minute. You run the offense. Let's see what happens. I'm going to stand over here and watch. You go do your thing, man. That's what I'd love to see. Right? And then in post-game, after you beat the Lions, hey, man, so you guys all know, that 2-minute stretch right there in the second quarter, beginning of the second quarter, where we ran, up-tempo a little bit, Jordan Love, that was all him, man. I wasn't involved in that. That touchdown drive, that was all Jordan Love. That shows you the maturity and the growth that he has, and really, he really has come as a quarterback. Really proud of Jordan Love. And Jordan Love gets to talk about, yeah, man, Matt let me do it. We knew during the week I was going to get to run my own series here, so I got to run everything I wanted to run, and we got a touchdown. So hopefully, he trusts me again in the future to do it again. That is what you would love to hear, because then all this crap of, oh, he doesn't trust Jordan. Oh, he doesn't let Jordan, air it out and let him go. They do that, and it works that way. Everybody across the media is going to have to shut up.
I get you. And I think that with this Green Bay Packers team, Jordan Love, again, has to be the person that has to step up and eventually be the leader for this offense. Josh Jacobs, so far this season, what we've seen from him is be injured and not be 100%, even though he wants to be out there and vocally he is a leader. Jordan Love has to take not only that step as a player, which I think we've seen him do at points this season, but also with his voice on the field. Not just behind cameras, behind the locker room doors. It has to be all the time, coming out and being that person that people know he can be and the leader that he can be. Also, I didn't get to defend myself. No, I don't want to see Jordan Love get hurt. Somebody else that doesn't like seeing quarterbacks get hurt, Lomas Brown, just called in. That's why I had to get on the phone there. He's going to come on at 3:00 now. He had a little bit of a scheduling conflict.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. That all works. Got the botched moment of the game, or the day, I should say, coming up next. And I'll be honest, I have not seen this. I don't know what this is all about. This was all Charlie, because I was on the air here doing Mason Crosby show noon to 2. So Charlie and I kind of talked in breaks. I let him do the botched moment of the day. I trust him to come up with something good. But Bob Nightingale always gets under scrutiny, so I can only imagine what this is going to be. And Charlie's just going to fan the flames, whatever somebody's mad about.
I just want to see if you think it's a botched moment. I don't know. This is more of a could go either way.
Could go either way
with you, at least. I don't know. You're weird sometimes.
Love you too. Botch moment of the day coming up next is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. In a world of tenders, Wendy's decided to make something more juicy, more crispy, and more dippable. New chicken tenders are here. Some may call them tendies, and yeah, it's fun to say and even more fun to eat. Wendy's new chicken tendies come with an insane new sauce lineup. New Wendy's signature, new sweet chili, or new scorching hot. or choose one of the classic honey barbecue, creamy ranch, or honey mustard. Whatever you choose, they're the perfect vessel to dip all your tendies in. Wendy's new chicken tenders are so juicy, crispy, and dippable, you'll remember them forever. Gotta have tendies, gotta be Wendy's. All right, botch moment of the day. Charlie, use the other side of the glass. He gets to do this every time. We go to the world of Major League Baseball, it appears.
Today, we're going to head over to foul territory where Odyssey MLB insider Bob Nightingale, friend of the show here, makes a case for an offseason trade deadline in the MLB. Again, this is something I don't know if you're going to be angry or not angry about, Sparky.
I think it would help free agents. I really do. Because right now, these guys are taking spots up. Like Sonny Gray just took a nice starting pitcher slot up. So yeah, have a deadline for that. I think it make it a lot more fun. It's like after the COVID season, whenever you had like a couple of weeks of time before spring training, that was fun. That was almost like NBA, NFL style, and we hadn't seen that. So, but I think it would help free agents as far as clear the marketplace. Now they have to focus on us, and because right now there's so many moves that are made in spring training. I mean, it used to be, hey, free agents wanted to sign before Christmas, because then the family would know where they're at for the holidays. They get housing in Arizona or Florida for spring training. And now I think guys are so used to just waiting and signing even at the start of spring training. And we saw that with Bregman. Obviously, we saw that big March and February with Machado in San Diego, and of course Harper in Philadelphia. So no, I think it would help players. And I think it'd be fun too. Right now, the only really deadline you're thinking about is the Diamondbacks with Ketel Marte, only because he's a 10-5 player, 10 days in the regular season. So I think in their mind, their deadline is, mid-April. If we don't trade him now, he's got 10-5, right? So we probably would never trade him.
I'm not mad about the idea. I understand where he's going. You're adding some drama at some point, which the Major League Baseball really doesn't have any in the offseason. So from that aspect, it makes sense. The key would be, where do you put the trade deadline? Because you don't want the trade deadline to be sidetracked by the National Football League. That is for sure. So realistically, if it's me, that trade deadline goes like on that Wednesday, that bye week that they get between the championship game and the Super Bowl. You can steal everybody because everybody's just waiting. Everybody else's teams are out, so it's not as big of a deal. And then you put that trade deadline there, and then hopefully you get a flurry of activity at the trade deadline in January, early February. And then that allows the free agents to sign wherever they're going to sign and so forth going forward. So it doesn't bother me. Having said that, I don't think this is a good idea for the Pirates. I don't think it's a good idea for the Reds. I don't think it's a good idea for the Milwaukee Brewers. Anybody, Marlins, it's not good for any of these teams. The reason that is because the way you got Mike Moustakas and Yasmani Grandal and those guys were musical chairs stopped. They had no seat to sit in. And then you were able to steal Moustakas and Grandal on one-year deals. That's to the benefit of the smaller market. If you put a trade deadline in and you essentially go, okay, everybody sign, I think that takes advantage away from the smaller market where guys wait, trades. Now we're in spring training. All of a sudden, guys don't have teams, or right before spring training, and now they're panicking like, holy crap, I got to go sign somewhere. Now, all of a sudden, the Brewers can get somebody on a one-year deal for that year because there's no chairs left. And they get panicked too. Like, dude, just get me somewhere. Like, anywhere that has a chance to win, let me go. Or whatever the case may be. You put a trade deadline in, that's not going to be the case. Because now all these teams are going to have to be aggressive quickly versus taking their time and picking their spots where they want to go get guys. I think it hurts the smaller markets they put a trade deadline in. I think it's good for Major League Baseball because you'll have a lot more talk, especially if you put that trade deadline in during that bye week between the NFC Conference Championship and the Super Bowl on, say, like that Wednesday or something. And then let that be the focus of Sports Talk Radio for that week and put Major League Baseball in the dead of winter to be a talking point. That, I think, would be brilliant. I just don't like it for small market teams, Charlie.
Well, and the problem this is trying to solve, like you said, is the guys signing late in the offseason, right before spring training or in the middle of spring training. That doesn't, I guess, really fix all that much if you just add a trade deadline. That's like, I guess, just kind of mitigating the problem in my mind. If you just have the cap space or you have a cap number that these teams can't go over, at some point here, the agents have to stop convincing their players to hold out for as long as possible. That's the problem right now, is that Scott Boras is sitting over here telling his 10 clients that all you guys can make $20 million, maybe, one less year with the Giants if you wait a month instead of with the Brewers right now. And that's the biggest issue. What you're doing with an offseason trade deadline, in my mind, isn't fixing that issue. It's just creating another problem to distract you from this issue. And then people are going to have problems with offseason trade deadline eventually, but guys are still going to be making all this money. Just have a cap. Like, it's just that easy.
I don't think Nightingale is angling for players making more money or anything else. I think Nightingale's angle on this, and I get it, which is get these guys in their homes sooner so they can move across the country. They can find where they're going to live and all this other stuff sooner versus waiting to the end. Now, I get it, right? Average Joe listening to Wisconsin Sports Daily right now is like, screw them, man. They're making millions. They can figure it out on their own. They don't care. But I don't care if said player is making millions or not. You got 2-3 kids that you got to pick up, move schools, and do all this other stuff. There's a lot that goes into doing that. Or plan B is, well, y'all are going to stay back here wherever here is, and I'm going to go live there for the next year, and I'll see you on a road trip when I come through if you're in a town where that sport comes through. Otherwise, I'll see you at the All-Star break if it's baseball. In this case, I'll come home for 3 or 4 days. Otherwise, I'll see you on FaceTime for the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever. That is the part that I think Nightingale is angling for. And I get it, man. I totally understand it.
I get that too, I guess. But at the same time, I mean, if these players really found that to be that big of a problem, then figure out how to sign with a team sooner. Like, if that's really something that matters to you that much, that you feel like that's an issue, like Damian Lillard didn't have a choice. He got traded. That was the big issue there. That's why he felt like kind of lost in that situation. So he didn't have the choice. These guys that we're talking about, and Alex Bregman, some of these other players, I mean, they have a choice. He chose to saddle for that long to get that much more money.
But the trade deadline guys don't.
No, but the trade deadline
guys that would know, hey, man, if you're going to get traded and if you're on the Brewers, the only way you're moving to a different city, you have to be traded by this point, right? So to me, that's fair to them too. I know if I'm still on the Brewers on February 1st, I'm on the Brewers going forward. I think that's fair.
But then doesn't that just lead to more teams, I guess, in my mind, cutting guys randomly too? And then now you just don't have a job at all and you're looking for a new home at this point. So like,
why would you cut somebody for that way?
If you can't trade them, and then, or if just you're not getting the value that you want, and then in free agency, you can sign 2 to 3 players that you put a bid on that you have to create roster spots for.
But wait a second, hold on. Okay, so you're talking from a large market standpoint.
Well, if they had a cap space, cap room, cap hit in this situation.
There is no cap.
If they add a cap, is what I'm saying, then these small market teams are going to have that opportunity too.
No, they are not, because they're all guaranteed contracts. Unless you're telling me that the world's going to end and they're going to agree to non-guaranteed contracts like the National Football League.
Jake Bauer's making $2 million. That's an easy cut for the team that if the Brewers in this situation were to go and sign
that is what Sonny Gray wouldn't be. You're not cutting Sonny Gray at $30 million a year, $35 million. You're not cutting Christian Yelich at $24 million. If you can't find a trade partner, he's there. You're not eating that. Yes,
but that's the case right now too. That's the case right now already. You don't need a trade deadline for that.
I don't know. Like I said, I understand Nightingale's standpoint, but I think from the Brewers being able to get bargain basement deals at the end towards spring training, getting guys on 1-year deals, I think it benefits small markets more than anybody else by not having a trade deadline at this point. We got time for one call here. I don't think it's on what we're talking about, but Charlie put them on. Drew in Cassville, you're next on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. What's up, Drew?
Yeah, it's Bruce. You're talking about Jordan
Morgan. Yeah.
Jordan Morgan. Yeah, about him being, what do you think of him being a guard? He ain't a guard. He's a left tackle. And Rasheed Walker hasn't been playing good up pretty much all year. And the holds, the false starts, the hands to the face, all that. He ain't all that great, so I don't know why I don't give him a chance and bench Rasheed Walker, but they want a comp pick for him. That's all the reason why they keep him playing too. So
Correct.
That's what I'm thinking about it.
Yep. No, I think you're absolutely right. There is some of that going into this as well. And the blind side, in my opinion, isn't something that you're going to be messing around with game to game and so forth. We just got done talking about on the show the other day. The key to a great offensive line is coordinating that dance that they do every day and getting it, so they're all in sync and all in rhythm. You rely so much on the guy next to you, and they've had so many parts moving on this offensive line at this point that to have the same 5 guys, whatever that is, to keep them healthy and play the rest of the way out into the playoffs would be the most beneficial thing, I think, at this point.
Exactly, but he's not your future anyways. Why not do it now? He's pretty much going to get a 5-6 comp pick now. He hasn't played very good. Rasheed Walker. Why bench him? Be done with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that is a situation that they could go after. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. We had on yesterday our guy, Mike Wall, former Packers offensive lineman. Great interview. Go back, listen to wherever you download your favorite podcast at Shirts Wisconsin Sports Daily, or go to wisportsradio.com. It's right there on the front page. You'll see the Mike Wall interview that we had yesterday. Did a great job breaking down this Packers offensive line, going over different individual players and situations. We did not, unfortunately, get into Rasheed Walker and how he thinks Rasheed Walker has played to this point. Now, if that is indeed the case where they're like, hey, man, yeah, I mean, he's struggling. There's 5 offensive linemen. Only Jordan Morgan is grading better at this point, but he's playing out of position. Fine, if that's the way you want to go. I prefer, more of a guy that plays there all the time to be at left tackle. But if they decided, hey, man, we're going to let Jordan Morgan be the starting left tackle going forward, and you're going to go that route, cool. Start it with the Bears, not this week. You want to start it with the Bears and give him a shot going forward, fine, but then just give him the job. I don't want rotating. You're going to say, Jordan Morgan, here's your chance. It's your job. Let's go. I'm fine with that. If you think there's reason and you have merit to make that case, other than he's a former first-round pick, if it's based on Walker's play, I'll support it, and we can move forward. Up next, Lomas Brown, former Lions All-Pro offensive lineman. He's on the Hall of Fame ballot on the semifinal list. We'll talk to him straight ahead. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Don't forget, NBA Cup action tonight, baby. Bucks and the Miami Heat will keep you updated if Giannis is going to play or not. He was listed as questionable at last check. Back after this. It is that time again. Welcome in hour number 2, Wisconsin Sports Daily. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Coming up this hour, Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com will join us coming up here in about 20 minutes. Charlie Sounds of the Day come up at 3:40. Joining us now, always a pleasure, Lomas Brown. Of course, the guy that was all-pro for the Detroit Lions, a guy that is cooking along on that Hall of Fame list, and he will see his day one of these days. It's going to happen. I know it is. But check this out. This is pretty cool stuff. Lomas Brown joins us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Lomas, you know that back in the day, I used to work with Leroy Butler and Gary Ellerson. We did the Big Show, and Leroy's my son's godfather and all of that, so I'm tight with Leroy. So for years, I lobbied and lobbied. Leroy's got to get in. Leroy's got to get in. We get Hall of Fame voters on all the time and bash them and scream at them. How is he not in? That's what you need. But if you can't get that, having this dude in your corner helps.
Congratulations, Lomas Brown, man, making the next round here, semifinalist. I'm not saying this because I'm with the Detroit Lions. Like, to me, I don't care what team he was on or how long he played or where he started. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, man. Hell of a dude, hell of a player, productive, that long, that many years, durability, production, the whole thing. So congrats to him, man. Onward.
Played with him in New York. What kind of team?
It's a great teammate, man. One of those you never forget. Look at him back there. There you go, brother. I didn't even see you. Good. Love you, dude. He was a great teammate. He was the guy that he just wanted to help you. Like, you know, whatever help. Look, I'll never forget. I brought this up. All right, we're playing Washington. Bruce Smith. We got like a play pass. He's right on my head. I'm like, okay, here we go. Came on. He just swats me, right? Bruce Smith just freaking swats me. And there's LB, dude. He's there to help me. He's like, I got you. You know, really just covered for me when really he had another job to do. He's supposed to kind of help the guard. He comes back, he helps me. But unbelievable teammate, man. Always upbeat, never a bad day, willing to do whatever for a teammate, and just a hell of a player. Hell of a player, man. Productive player. So a guy that you talk about reliability, dependability, that was him.
You got Dan Campbell in your core, Lomas Brown. Ain't nobody better. Dan Campbell with the microphone in his hand talking about you.
No, man, that was it was really refreshing, and that's my guy, man. I love me some Dan Campbell. I feel like a proud father when I'm around him because I was in my 15th year and he was in his 2nd year. And just to see what he's doing here in Detroit and how he's leading this team and this organization, man, that's my guy right there. And I always know if I need somebody to bite some kneecaps, I know I got the right guy to bite a few kneecaps. So I'm good to go.
Lomas Brown joins us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. I don't know if you saw this, or you heard about it, or whatever, but apparently, according to reports, Frank Ragnow's coming out of retirement and coming back to the Detroit Lions. You did not hear. Your eyes just got real big. It broke minutes ago. Probably you probably did not see or hear this. It literally broke, what, 5-10 minutes ago?
Yeah, 5-10
minutes ago. Frank Ragnow's coming back. Now,
wow.
Now, he better not be playing tomorrow because I'm going to be mad as a Packer fan. He shoots up tomorrow. So I don't think he's playing tomorrow. Having said that, though, that's a huge deal for this Lions team.
Oh, my gosh, man. I'm telling you, people don't realize, but I think that's probably the single most reason why the offense just hadn't looked the way it's looked. Just the leadership. You took a all-pro, all-everything center out of your offensive line, the quarterback on the offensive line, kind of like the DNA of our offensive line was Frank Ragnow. Man, I'm so happy to hear that, man. That's unbelievable because we need him, you know, center for us, but he didn't really want to move to the center position when he was asked to do that. So anytime you're reluctant in the position, you just don't know how. I say we've been so up and down on our offensive line this year. This can be huge for us with Frank coming back. Wow, that's unbelievable.
I wish I could be as excited as you are about this. As a Packer fan, I can't be as excited. It's kind of depressing to me to think about. But you brought that up about the transition, and we've got that going on in Green Bay. We had it with Elton Jenkins going from a really good guard to the center position this year. They move on from Josh Myers. And I think you talk to anybody, that really didn't go as well as they wanted. And now he's hurting out for the year, it looks like. And then Jordan Morgan, you draft as a tackle. You're trying to make him work at right guard. He essentially gets benched last week for the rookie Belton. It's not easy on the offensive line to be switching positions. And we had Mike Wall on, former Packer offensive lineman, yesterday. And his deal is, he goes, I don't agree with moving a guy that's really good at one position and try to switch him to a different position. They should have just left Elton Jenkins alone in that position and let him go. You're another offensive lineman. Obviously, you can speak on all of it.
No, he's absolutely right. And the thing that happens is just the chemistry. It throws off the chemistry because, as everybody know, man, we have that unspoken language up front. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to say certain things, and guys know what to do, where to be at. And when you take that chemistry out of the offensive line, when you take that guy that you rely on next to you and you put him in an unfamiliar position, or you change that position, it's going to cause a little uproar. As a lot of people don't know, offensive linemen, we work like a hand in the glove. And if one guy's not doing his job, that play isn't going to be successful. So you try to keep guys where they're comfortable at. You try to keep them in that position. You try to develop that chemistry. And like I say, you try to develop that unspoken language, which you need to be a successful offensive line.
The first time the Lions faced the Packers, nobody knew what Micah Parsons was going to look like for the Packers. Nobody knew what Jeff Hafley was going to do with them. The Lions got to be the first team to experience that. Now, he didn't play a full complement of snaps in that game because they were trying to work up his endurance and so forth. That line that faced Micah Parsons in week 1 versus this line that's going to face Micah Parsons now, compare and contrast if you could.
Yeah, I mean, it's still different. You know, we lost Christian Mahogany a few weeks ago. Now we got Coyote Awasika in there. He struggled a little bit against the Giants. Again, you have we're pretty much the same. It just depends on where they decide to rush him from. We're good, I think, at the tackle position, even though both of our tackles are a little beat up. Panay Sewell and Taylor Decker, they're dealing with little minor nagging injuries. I'm all right if Michael rushes off the edge. But if he rushes us up the middle, that's where I get concerned because, like I say, that position, it hadn't been as steady. When you talk about playing a rookie guard at one position, and like you say, you playing a guy that's basically a rookie who doesn't have a lot of experience, you know, at the other guard position. So it just depends on where they try to attack us at. But the softest part of our offensive line has been the middle of that offensive line. So it's going to be interesting to see how Dan Campbell kind of game plans, how he wants to try to attack the front four of the Green Bay Packers tomorrow.
Lomas Brown, baby, former Lions All-Pro, future Hall of Famer, and that he is going to be in the Hall of Fame. Follow him on X at Lomas Brown 75. He's one of the semifinalists right now on the list that just came out. What happened to the Lions defense? I know Kirby Joseph isn't going to play. Doesn't look like tomorrow the safety for the Lions. But, man, you gave up over 500 yards to Jameis Winston and the Giants. How does that happen?
I'm telling you, if you don't get pressure on the quarterbacks, and that's what I've been preaching, and I'm telling you, if we let Jordan Love get the type of time that Jameis got against us, he's going to kill us tomorrow. We're going to have to figure out a way. And I know Aiden Hutchinson is just one guy, and he's seeing a lot of double teams. But those guys are going to have to try to get to him early and often in that game and try to make him uncomfortable, try to get him off his spot. If we don't do that, man, I'm telling you, might as well put the record on repeat because it's going to be the same thing that just happened against us against the Giants. So that's one of my biggest concerns is us being able to get pressure, sacks, hits on the quarterback early in the game to try to affect the quarterback, to try to affect the timing of the offense, to try to do something to throw him off because we didn't do a very good job against Jameis. And you see, like you say, what happened to us this past game.
I want to go to the head coach, and I know you guys are guys, and obviously you ought to be your friends, and he promoted the heck out of you, and he should continue to do that every single day until you get in. I completely support that. But having said that, he takes over play calling from John Morton. Morton was a play caller the first time the Packers went. First game play calling, and we had said, you and I talked going into this, that chemistry between the play caller and the quarterback is crucial to get into rhythm, to get on the same page. That eventually doesn't work in Dan Campbell's mind. So now Dan Campbell takes over, and now you go forward looking at this, and the question is it working, or is there still struggles with this offense, I guess you could say? Obviously, there was two things that stood out. Number one, Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously huge game against the Giants, right? And then number two, his big thing was getting Jamison going at wide receiver, and I think that's happened since he's taken over as well. I've heard criticism of third down play calling and execution on this Lions team not being as good as maybe it's been in years past. What say you?
Yeah, and the reason why is because penalties. I think we had 9 or 10 penalties in the last game. And, once you get these penalties, it puts you behind the stick. You're going from 1st and 10 to 1st and 15 or 1st and 20 or 2nd and long. And then, when you get to the third down, which is your money down, all these defensive coordinators, I think, in the league, if you have 3rd and long to try to pick up, it's very hard to do that in the NFL. And that's been part of our problem. We haven't been on schedule on 1st and 2nd down, so it's been causing us to be in a lot of 3rd and long situations, and we haven't been as efficient as we've been in the past of picking those up. So that's one thing that has really killed us. And I'm going to tell you, drops have hurt us too. Amon-Ra uncharacteristically have more drops at this point in the season than he had all last year.
Wow.
Jameson Williams had 3 of them this game against the Giants. We don't have Sam Laporta. That's another big key that's kind of hurt us the last couple of weeks. Not having a tight end in the game plan. So it's been a combination of things that have really kind of hurt us on the offensive side of the ball, not just play calling, but it's been other things like that has, I think, have really stopped us from being the offense that we're used to seeing, that we're used to having here in Detroit. And it's putting a lot more pressure on our defense to kind of carry the guys. So we got to find the answer to penalties, and we got to find the answer to staying on schedule offensively.
Packers and Matt LaFleur can understand the pain of losing a really good tight end as they lost Tucker Kraft. So they also are going through trying to figure out how to get this offense going. Thankfully, Christian Watson has been playing really well the last couple of weeks if he can stay healthy. As always, prediction time, Lomas Brown. What do you say?
You know what? I'm just so nervous about the way we've been playing. I think it's going to be a close game. I think we might see another overtime game, to be honest with you. That's how tight I think things are going to be. I'm hoping that that Jake Bates can pull us out like he did before. So I'm going to go 13-16, and I'm going to say we're going to get the victory since we're at home and it's on Turkey Day.
I knew you weren't going to pick against him. I knew that when I asked it. I just wanted to see how close it was going to be. If Lomas Brown says it's going to be close, that means he's worried about the Packers a little bit right now. Lomas, thank you so much for coming on. I am rooting for you to get in the Hall of Fame. You deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame person, Hall of Fame player. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys, and have a happy Thanksgiving, okay?
You as well, Lomas. Have a happy Thanksgiving, buddy. Take care. There he is, Lomas Brown joining us, and you could have watched that whole Lomas Brown interview right there on X and on YouTube as we stream this bad boy live at WI Sports Radio. And join us on the guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. I love having Mike Wall on. And I love having Lomas Brown on, Charlie.
I love listening to offensive linemen talk about the offensive line, man. They break it down better than
As a
nobody
former
else.
college
That's why I love
lineman.
it. I have a whole book about offensive linemen that I've read like 3 different times, breaking down the position. It's awesome to hear these guys talk.
Would most people fall asleep reading that book?
Oh, 100%. I think 95% of people would never touch that book, if we're being completely honest, but it's phenomenal. It's called View from the O-Line. It's great.
Who wrote it? Who is it by? Is it by a player or is it by just
it's
a writer?
by a former coach. Off the top of my head,
No, you don't have to Google it. Nobody cares. I mean, it's fine if you do, but I don't think anybody's going to go buy the book because you said it. Maybe.
You never know. Howard Mudd and Richard Lister.
Oh, Howard Mudd. That's my guy, man. He was a longtime offensive line coach for the Colts when Manning was the quarterback.
There you go.
Pretty sure didn't he pass away years ago?
It's a great book. Either way.
Pretty sure. No, I'm going to Google it. I'm pretty sure Howard Mudd passed away. That was a big.
Yes, he passed away in 2020.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, that was a big story. I remember talking about it. Yeah, he was one of the best offensive line coaches to come around. Okay, maybe I do want to read that book if Howard Mudd is part of it. All right, coming up next, Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com. Get his thoughts on the Badgers going up against the Twerp in Minnesota. Don't forget tonight, Bucks Heat. It's NBA Cup action. Still waiting to see if Giannis is going to play or not tonight. He was listed as questionable. And when the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate frosted classic. No purchases necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after win. Act fast and get that free small frosty classic at Wendy's after a Bucks victory. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here, Charlie there. The Potawatomi Sportsbook, man, great place. If you're looking to take a shuttle versus paying all that money to go to a home Bucks game at Fifer Forum going downtown, not a cheap date sometimes when you go down there to try and go watch anything, really, at this point. But you got a parking lot. It's covered, whole deal there at the Potawatomi Casino Hotel. It leaves for the game 1 hour and 15 minutes before tip. It comes back from the game with shuttles starting in the third quarter. You can take said shuttle by simply making a same day game wager or by making a purchase at the Potawatomi Sportsbook Kitchen. When you do either, just ask for the bracelet to ride on the shuttle, and they will give you said bracelet to ride on the shuttle, and you are all set to go. So that is the way to go. Get more information on that. Simply go to Potawatomi.com for more information on the shuttles to and from Bucks home games. If you're streaming on X, if you're streaming on YouTube, joining us now, he is Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com. And, of course, follow him on Twitter at Jake Coco, who's decided, you know what, to hell with this. I'm just going to go do my own thing. And that's exactly what he's doing. This is the cool thing that I want to do. I'm curious. I'm intrigued. You and I have never really done this before on X and YouTube streaming live before, Jake. But I've always heard the stories from Jake Kocorowski about all the iron he pumps and how big he is. I need to see the gun show. Let me see what kind of arms are we talking about here, Kocorowski? Because I work with a former offensive lineman in Charlie Usen. I work with John Kuhn. I mean, Mason Crosby is a kicker. I'm not going to get to work on Crosby's arm. Well, I'm curious. Like, what are we talking about here? You have to lift it up higher. Let's see. Come on. Do a nice little like Hulk Hogan flex. Okay, all right. Tricep. Yeah, that's pretty solid, don't you think, Charlie?
I just did my shoulders right there.
Yeah, you did shoulders today? Yeah, all right.
I did shoulder, a little bit of vein there, a little bit of vein.
Yeah, that's good.
Are any of your interviews today going to start normally?
No. No,
okay.
they reported
I got the shirt on. It's not a dad bod. It's a father figure.
Oh, all right. Okay, I like that. That's good. I like it. Yeah.
No, I mean, y'all caught me. Like, I haven't, like, with the season going on, covering 3 sports along with football recruiting, it's been tough to find normal weightlifting routines. So right now I'm just in maintenance mode of like, hey, can you get some squats in? Can you get a leg day in? Can you try to get, hey, like today I got incline bench, I got shoulders done, that, you know, and then once the regular season, after the early signing period next Wednesday, that's when I can really start hitting in there. My wife and I have some goals about trying to hit a beach next year sometime. So I got to drop a good 40 pounds to try to make sure that, I don't embarrass myself. So, but no, I appreciate you boys.
You're married. It's over. Don't worry about it. Jake, so let's talk about this Badgers team. For the most part, it's been over for the Badgers for weeks, if we're being honest. They're not getting themselves in shape enough to go to a beach at this point when the season's over. But they have won 2 of the last 3. Beating Bielema was a highlight of the year for me personally. What happened? Like, it's almost like a switch was flipped once McIntosh backed Fickle publicly, and this team changed. But that can't just be what happened. There has to be something else that changed that happened in that Washington game. They played well in the Oregon game for the most part, and then you beat Illinois.
I mean, I think the one thing that's been interesting is that it even goes back to the Oregon game, right? And yeah, the conditions were terrible in Eugene that day. Rain, Oregon's this high-powered offense. Dante Moore still looks legit, but they constrained that Oregon offense, in the elements, inclement weather, but they still did it, and they gave themselves a fighting chance. And then you go into the bye week, they're riding a 6-game losing streak, but they come out. I mean, winning. I think the one thing too, winning's contagious, and you get that little spark. And the conditions again against Washington were not great. And Washington, their quarterback Damon Williams really good, but they sacked him 5 times in that game. And then on top of that, the conditions helped where and also the leading receiver for Washington, who should be an NFL type player, Denzel Boston, was a little hobbled by an injury, but they also contained him enough in that game. So, and then there's a little bit of a bump too where you bring in someone like a Carter Smith, and it's kind of he's a freshman, right? He's gonna have his freshman moments. I can count on number my right hand, how many times he missed like a deep throw. There's like 2 or 3 throws that could have been even, could have shown how the passing game progressed last week against Illinois. But there's a moxie to him. He's a +1 against defense.
He's a leader.
Yeah, and you're seeing stuff like that. But then, it really goes back to that defense where they are really just containing defenses or offenses, I should say. They held Luke Altmaier. Yeah, he threw for nearly 250, but they held him in the run game, and he was not comfortable all evening. Yep. I think that it all goes back to Wisconsin's defense. But then against Illinois, it's their most complete game, complete game of the year, where the run game finally started going consistently. And special teams, they beat Illinois special teams, and that's what they're going to have to do against Minnesota too. Where looking at the weather forecast right now, it don't look. It's not. I think Wisconsin looks worse, but it's still not going to be pretty up in Minnesota.
So we're talking snow in Minnesota for that game, because we're definitely getting snow in the southeastern part of the state on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I'm driving up early in the morning, and so I've been very much on Saturday morning. I'm very much keeping eyes on what's happening here. But from what I had seen, the latest forecast according to weather.com, it looks like very light snow. So it's not going to be crazy like it is going to be down here. Potentially, we never know. We know how these weather systems go with us, but if it is inclement weather, advantage Wisconsin, because Minnesota leads the Big Ten in sacks right now with 34. Wisconsin's not far behind after the last month. They're like third with 31. Drake Lindsey's not a very mobile quarterback, unlike Luke Altmaier, unlike Dante Moore, unlike Fernando Mendoza, unlike DeMond Williams Jr. So in my eyes, and for that matter, Minnesota does not run the ball well. They are averaging just over 100 yards rushing a game. They have a worse rushing offense than Wisconsin. That's with Darius Taylor, who is supposed to be and I have the utmost respect for Darius Taylor. He is a very good running back when he's healthy, but they also haven't been able to run the ball. And if the passing game is not, that's the one thing I think Wisconsin should be afraid of, and Wisconsin fans should be. Drake Lindsey can spin it. He can throw the ball well, but if there's inclement weather, and if Wisconsin can just pin their ears back on a 3rd and long and go after Lindsey, who is not that mobile, that's advantage Wisconsin all the way.
So, talk with Jake Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com. Follow him on Twitter at Jake Coco. Let's talk a little bit about guys that are playing well right now the last 3 weeks, and guys of that group. Is there any concern of any of those players potentially hitting that portal and running out the back door after having a positive finish to the season? Because I think as a Badger fan, there's probably some concern there that, okay, man, this was not a great season. These guys may look for greener pastures elsewhere where they might be able to win a little bit more, even though clearly this locker room is bought into Luke Fickell still in order to show this fight and resolve and to finish the season this way.
Yeah, I want to say it. I haven't heard from anybody, so no news is good news. So I haven't heard any. I don't have any insider info on any type of portal rumblings, but it is going to be interesting. And it is going to be. We've seen from Chris McIntosh, the athletic director for Wisconsin, talking about the increased resources. Right, he had that letter that our friend Zach Heilprin, retweeted about a month ago, more than that actually. You also had. And then you're having Ted Kellner, discuss things with various people around the Milwaukee area too about the resources. So, the big thing for college football right now.
Jake, one second.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want somebody to ask Ted Kellner?
What's that?
Where the hell was this for the last 5 years? Where was all this money that apparently is going to vault the Badgers from, bottom third of the Big Ten to top third of the Big Ten or whatever they're going to do? Where was this prior? If we had all this money just sitting there waiting to be gotten and spent, why wasn't this being accessed earlier?
I think that's a question that we'd love to have an answer to. And I think it probably falls out definitely more towards the shoulders of Chris McIntosh to explain it more than Ted. And I think, but it is one thing where, it's also, I think strategies, I think this was the year that they realized that, being cost effective is admirable, but it's also, if they were trying to do certain things and we don't know exactly what, that's the toughest thing about being a reporter right now and trying to report on name, image, likeness, to report about rev sharing. We're not getting I remember being at Badger Extra, the Wisconsin State Journal, and my colleague Colton Bartholomew over there, I think he had an interview with Chris McIntosh in the spring, and there were no there wasn't any breakdowns of, okay, which programs are getting what for rev share. And then obviously NIL can be a crapshoot because we don't know exactly how much the collectives brought in. I mean, it's all kind of, it's money that we don't know where it's going to and who's being spent on. And even, you talk about the public figures, like I say, Bryce Underwood from Michigan, right? You've heard the numbers of 8 figures or 8 figures, I should say, in the tens of millions of dollars. But is that actually true? And over the course of the deal and how many, the dollar amounts and the annual, how much it is annually, it's tough, but at least they're realizing it now. And I think if they're, the biggest thing for Wisconsin is going to be player retention. And that's what these, I think with this young nucleus that they have coming in with the freshmen, it's going to be key. And then with the transfer portal, I mean, there are places that they're going to have to attack. I think offensive line could be one of them. You're looking at, cornerback, safety could be potential other ones, in my opinion, that they should address there. But yeah, it's going to be, I mean, this is the new age of college football. And I mean, at Badger Observer, either Friday or early next week, I'm going to have something, or not Friday, Saturday or something out early next week, just talking about what is the definition of a, developmental college football program in this era of college football. Because even if you may be a developmental program, you still got to retain players. You still got to, that's going to cost money and resources or whatever the magic word is for college athletic programs.
The good news is they don't develop anybody in 3 years. That's the good news. They haven't developed anybody. I mean, if you look at these guys that got here when he got here, who have they developed? I mean, Amari Snowden was supposed to be that guy when they recruited him. He's playing at Toledo right now. So either they misanalyzed what that was all about or whatever, but that never ended up. The talented freshman cornerback that they have that everybody thought might be an NFL corner left for Miami amongst lawsuits and everything else that went on. So they lost him, never got to see the fruits of that labor. I mean, who have they developed per se at this point?
I mean, I would point first and foremost to Ben Barton, who is a 6th-year defensive lineman. The numbers aren't there, right? And he's an interior defensive lineman. He's clogging the holes, but this year I would say has been his most impressive year. And the work that EJ Whitlow's done with him, and you saw it last year where he got a bunch of snaps. He had I thought Pro Football Focus had it where he was credited with at least over 300 snaps, which is a lot for a defensive lineman, especially in the Big Ten. And there's only 3 Badgers that had that. They did not have the depth they wanted to. And even this year with the depth that they do have, and they do have they can rotate in 4 to 6 guys, which is more than what they really did last year. He is, he's blocked a field goal. He is getting in there. He had his first sack again. I think it was against Oregon. He's getting the pressure, and his abilities on the line, I would say, have opened up guys like Mason Reiger, Daryl Peterson in that, in creating the opportunities for the pressures that you've seen. I would point maybe Christian Allegro and just what he's done now. Now, obviously, he's got a huge cast on his arm that looks like if you're a video game person, Mega Man, with the left hand right that. Yeah. And what he's really impressed. I know he had his injury. He was out. But I guess you could also point to, with Wisconsin, getting Cooper Catalano, Germantown product, right around y'all's neck of the woods. Mason Posa, getting them ready. And yeah, Posa's a consensus 4-star kid from the 25 class.
Stud.
Yeah, and he's a stud, but it's also getting him on the field ready and he enrolled in the summer. Cooper came during the spring, so he was able to acclimate quickly. And by the end of spring, that's when you started seeing, Mike Tressel talked about, a defensive coordinator for Wisconsin, how he was able to fly around the field like he used to at Germantown, where he collected all those tackles. So you can give them credit for seeing guys in the first and second year starting to at least be able to contribute in some fashion. And that's part of the class too, where the 24 and 25 kids have needed to develop earlier. It's part of the age of college football. And even Grover Bortolotti, the Whitefish Bay product, I talked to him and his brother Harrison yesterday. It's up on Badger Observer right now. Even Grover was talking about how, these kids are expected to play earlier, and that's part of the development there too. So you're right where, and I think it goes back to, like I said, the 2021, 2022 classes that should be redshirt juniors, redshirt seniors right now. A lot of those numbers trailed off, right? Transfer portal, other things, the development, for some players just didn't get there. And it may be because of the scheme changes that they've had, the coaching changes. But I think you can hang your hat on some of the younger guys, them getting on the field, like Matt, even guys like Nick Clayton, who's been on special teams. If it wasn't for Mason Reiger and Daryl Peterson, 2 upperclassmen, being so superb in their pass rush right now, he's probably seeing the field too on defense and making some plays in the backfield too. So they are getting younger guys ready. It's just sometimes in this game you need 2 to 3 years to really be these dominant players, and you're starting to see that with the younger classes. But right now, I mean, obviously they're 4-7, and they're on the outside looking in for any type of bowl.
Jay Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com. One last one, then I got to run. That signing day is coming up, that early signing period day coming up next week. Best player in this class, any concern about anybody else flipping and bolting on him?
I think there's always a chance to. I know, and it's just the way that college football is. And so I think right now, if he signs Amari Latimer, 4-star running back out of Georgia, he is the complete package.
They were on social media saying they ain't going anywhere, so I hope that's true.
I mean, and he can run out of the backfield. I think he has great hands. He reminds me of Brian Calhoun in that way, where he can be a multi-purpose back there. Jaden Petit, if he signs with Wisconsin, I know there's been some predictions on 3 him going to Oklahoma. I watched him personally in August, when I went down there to watch him, and then Ryan Hopkins, the quarterback commit for this class in back-to-back days. Jaden Petit is
a stud.
Already a grown man at 17, 18 years old, 6'4", 220. I don't know there's much you need to really do with him physically. If they can sign him, downfield threat, has enough speed right now. He can increase his speed always. And I think he will underneath Brady Collins, the strength and conditioning director at Wisconsin. But he, I think, could be a game changer in that passing game too.
That's awesome. He is Jay Kocorowski, BadgerObserver.com. Follow him on Twitter at JCoco. He is awesome, and he's got big arms. Jake, thanks so much for coming on. Have a happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
Happy Thanksgiving, Sparky and Charlie, too. Hey, everybody, be safe on the roads. Happy Thanksgiving. Be safe overall. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care. There is Jay Kocorowski joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. What do you mean I've been weird at the beginning of every interview? What is that?
Every interview, besides Lomas, you were normal during Lomas, I guess. But earlier, Jeff Rieger, you guys didn't start talking about sports until like 8 minutes in because you kept making fun of him.
That's what I always do with Rieger.
I know it is. But then you started talking about Jake's arms to start off.
Yeah.
You're weird.
I am weird. Yes, that's true. Those are facts. I've never argued that I am not a weird dude. I am a weird dude. That is, that's part of the deal.
We're all a little weird to be working in this industry. You got to be.
Especially working with me and dealing with me on a day-to-day basis makes you not normal either, Charlie. Okay, let's take a quick time. I'll come back. Charlie's Sounds of the Day is coming up, and we will see what he has come up with for today. Top 3 clips from around the world of social media and pressers and highlights and all that fun stuff. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. C. Sparky Fifer here. Charlie Using over there. Hope y'all are going to have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Coming up tomorrow, we'll have the Green Bay football post-game show powered by Lakeland University with Tommy Wirtz and myself, following Green Bay and Detroit, starting at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Starting at 3 o'clock, we'll be on the air. Whether the game's over or not, we're going to start at 3 o'clock. So make sure to check out Green Bay football post-game show tomorrow here on these very fine stations, whether it be on 99.7 FM, WNFL in the Green Bay Appleton area, 93.9 The Game in Wausau, 710 The Game in the Duluth Superior area, or The Fan in Milwaukee on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully, we'll be talking about a Packers victory. All right, Charlie, using your time to shine. What you got?
All right, you brought up the Packers game tomorrow and what they need to do to win that one. Mina Kimes and Dominique Foxworth were discussing that on the Mina Kimes show and whether or not it's a smart idea for the Detroit Lions to be blitzing Jordan Love.
I have a question for you, which is whether or not if you're Detroit, you try to blitz Jordan Love. He has been the best quarterback against the blitz this year by a lot of metrics. You saw that this week in admittedly a close game, but he hit some big plays with pressure bearing down on him, including one hilarious Kobe moment. The first time these teams played, he destroyed the blitz against them. He hit two of his biggest plays when the Lions send pressure. They have a different receiving group, obviously, now. There's no Jaden Reed and Tucker Kraft in the mix, but it feels like they're starting to attack downfield again, and I would say that spells trouble for Detroit if they send pressure.
I don't imagine that. I mean, I assume that they learned their lesson, and that's not the way that they're going to approach this game. To your point, no matter what happens, injury concerns or whatever, they're going to do what they do, and we've been so, pleased, I think, for the most part, with the injuries at secondary where people continue to step up. I know they have good safeties, but just lockdown man coverage is not something that, despite the fact that they try to do it, it's not something that they do incredibly well. Aiden Hutchinson is the key. Is he going to, and McNeil, disruptive up front is the only way I think that they have success.
So this is the fun thing about this. I went and I looked quarterbacks versus the blitz. Jordan Love is number one. Jared Goff is number 6 on that list versus
That's kind of surprising.
The blitz too. And as we've talked about before, you kind of got to figure out how you want to play this, right? Are we going to play it to stop Jahmyr Gibbs and see if they can get home with 4 guys rushing, or are you going to come in and bring the house and see what he does? When we had Jeff Rieger on earlier from the Ticket in Detroit on the Mason Crosby show earlier today, he pretty much said that in his opinion, Jared Goff is one of the worst guys ever once you start hitting him a couple of times and he starts feeling the walls kind of closing in on him at that point. My want is to just bring them, right? You heard Lomas Brown when he joined us at the top of this hour saying they bring Micah Parsons up the middle. He's concerned about what they have in the middle of that line. If you bring Adrian Cooper up the middle or Quay Walker up the middle or whatever the case may be, or Isaiah McDuffie, any of those guys, that's their weak point, and that's where you want to come. And if you bring multiple guys, even more problems for them. I would be super aggressive. Normally, they tend to be way more aggressive against quarterbacks that are statues like Jared Goff, and then quarterbacks that can run, they're scared of. They ring 4 or 5 at most, and they kick back and relax and see what happens. I want to see what they do in this one, Charlie.
I think both these teams have very similar defenses right now as we sit because of the injuries, the style of play that they run. And because of that, I think both these teams need to come out and be aggressive right away. But if either one of them gets into a situation where being aggressive doesn't work, the other team has a better game plan, then you have to immediately switch. I don't believe the Lions are going to do that. They're stubborn all the time. They're going to stick with that. I think the Packers have the ability to switch if they need to, and that's why I give them the advantage.
I'm guessing that the Packers will not do any blitzing whatsoever in the beginning of the game. They're going to rush 4 or 5 and see if 4 or 5 can get home regularly. And if they can, they're going to sit in it. If they can't and Goff is moving the ball, then I think maybe you'll see them start to switch at some point. It won't be the first drive. It'll take them a half to figure it out, but eventually they'll switch and get more aggressive. All right, clip number 2.
Next up, we're going to head over to Fair Territory, hosted by Ken Rosenthal. And he was discussing if the re-signing of Brandon Woodruff to the Milwaukee Brewers means that Freddie Peralta is going to stay around.
I don't know that I would say automatic, because the Brewers are a team that are constantly looking to move payroll to create payroll flexibility. But at the same time, Will Salmon and I wrote an article, I believe it was last week after Woodruff accepted, in which we quoted both owner Mark Attanasio and president of baseball operations Matt Arnold saying they are excited about the rotation and saying that Woodruff doesn't necessarily lead to a trade of Peralta. They're on the record saying this. Now, things change. We all know that. You can't hold people to their words forever. But it just seems to me trading Freddie Peralta when you're only paying him $8 million, I know it's only in a relative sense, that would be a counterproductive move. You've got a potential rotation headed by Peralta, then with Woodruff and Mizorowski and some others. That's potentially a real strength. The question for the Brewers is, okay, then how do you create that flexibility we talked about? Do you trade a reliever like Trevor McGill? He's due about $4 million next year. That doesn't create that much flexibility. Or, and this is the obvious solution to me here, do you sign Brandon Woodruff to a multi-year deal at a lower average annual value than the qualifying offer number, which was just over $22 million? That to me seems to be the way to go. Maybe you do Woodruff at 3 years, $45 million. You take $7 million off the 2026 salary and you go from there. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It just seems to me to be the most obvious solution.
That's fantasy world stuff. I like Rosenthal. That's fantasy world. Why in the world would Brandon Woodruff sign 3 years at $15 million a year for? There's no chance. If Brandon Woodruff goes out and puts up a good year, which if he's healthy, he's going to cash in 25 to 30 million a year on a long-term deal whenever the holdout in CBA is done, I would imagine. So no, I don't see any world where Brandon Woodruff would sign for that. In fact, Freddie Peralta is not going to sign for that either. Peralta, when he hits free agency, he's going to be somewhere in that $25 million a year range too after this year.
You would assume so. I think both these guys are going to go out and if they're healthy, going to have great seasons. And they're both going to be worth a ton of money to whoever is going to be willing to pay that. And I don't think the Milwaukee Brewers, unless there's some kind of big change with the CBA, are going to be willing to be the team to offer that much money. So this is a situation where if he's going to get $15 million a year, you better hope he's awful next season. That's the only way he gets $15 million a year.
Yeah. No, well, he's saying doing it now before the season starts.
There's
That's what
no
Rosenthal
shot. You
said.
have to wait till the end of the
There's no
season.
chance if I'm Woodruff, I'm signing a 3 or $45 million. No chance. Coming up next, green and gold update time. Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator, having some fun in his press conference yesterday. We'll tell you what that's all about coming up. Plus, we got to talk about the Zach Levine to the Bucks rumor that's out there by Michael Scotto coming up at 4:20. And then Admirals hockey time. Charlie Larson, the Admirals, will join us at about 4:45. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I was playing this prior to the Badgers and Illinois game starting against Brett Bielema and crew. I was playing it on my little, like, what do they call those things? Bluetooth, like, little speaker or whatever.
Yeah, Bluetooth speaker.
Every time they showed Bielema, I played this. Every single time.
You're so mean.
Yeah.
You're weird and mean now, Sparky.
Sorry, he plays the same thing for me. See Sparky Fifer with you. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. See Sparky Fifer here. Charlie Hughes on the other side of the glass. Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I am sure there are some that are going to be enjoying some Thanksgiving meals. I heard earlier today at 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff, they were having a conversation about when is the right time to eat said Thanksgiving meal. And Rami was saying that normally they eat at like 5, 6 o'clock, but this year they're going to eat at 4 o'clock. But he doesn't understand the people that eat earlier in the day. And I've already told you, because we've got the Green Bay football postgame show, powered by Lakeland University with Tommy and myself tomorrow. We're probably going to eat like 11:30 or right around kickoff of the game. So we're definitely not eating that late. John Kuhn made a great point. He's like, hey, man, if you love Thanksgiving as much as you do, because Rami claims it's his favorite holiday, why wouldn't you eat earlier? And then you can have that for dinner, and you can have it for a snack, and you can just keep gorging yourself with Thanksgiving food for like the next 12 hours after you eat lunch. That's what we do. We have it for lunch, and then we come back and we have it for dinner later.
Well, just because Thanksgiving is your favorite holiday doesn't mean you have to like leftovers, and some people aren't leftovers people.
No. Rami said that they're having it at 4. He'll be hungry by 6, and we'll have another platter, and then we'll eat another platter of food and another piece of pumpkin pie by like 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, that's not leftovers. It's all throughout the day. You know, if you eat earlier, then you get too tired too early. This way, you know, you can tire yourself out right at 11 o'clock.
The whole point is to fall asleep on the couch.
It's all still out. You don't have to if you want to keep eating.
Nah. I think the whole point of it is that you fall asleep on the couch at some point. Now, I understand if it's a Packer game, that's not going to be allowed to happen. So maybe you don't want to do it on a Packer Thanksgiving day. But when it's just the Lions against whoever and you don't care about the game, or the Cowboys against whoever and you don't care about the game, then it's perfectly acceptable to fall asleep on the couch. And everybody's in like food coma for an hour or two. And then you get up and you're like, all right, pour me a beverage or two, and then go right back at it and have another round of it.
I guess I don't know if I like Thanksgiving as much as you guys. Then I don't know. I like eating one plate of food. You know, taking a nap's fine, but like, you know, then you're just tired for the rest of the day, and then now you're just too lazy.
You just not like to eat?
Like, I like to eat, but like Thanksgiving food can be boring sometimes.
Oh Lord, we're done. I don't want to talk to you anymore about this. I'm done. Never mind. Who even says that? Oh, Thanksgiving food can be boring. Okay, so what holiday food is exciting to you then, Charlie?
I don't know, like, St. Patrick's Day. I love St. Patrick's.
I hate corned beef.
Reuben.
I'm out on corned beef.
That's my favorite.
So you like it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense if you're a big corned beef guy. It does nothing for me. All right, time to get to our green and gold update, brought to you by the Potawatomi Sports Book. So check this out. Yesterday, Jeff Halfley and everybody else talked into the evening hours. They didn't start talking until right before our show ended.
Yep.
That's when Matt LaFleur started. And then they sent all the coordinators up after that. Furthermore, it was just a walkthrough yesterday anyhow at the end of the day. They didn't even have everybody up there talking. Let me see here. You must have it on your side because I don't see it on my side. Jeff Halfley had a conversation at his presser talking about Micah Parsons, which was really good. And while Charlie finds that, I'll give you the latest injury report for the Green Bay Packers. Again, our thanks to Sarah Quick, media relations of the Green Bay Packers. She always sends this out usually before we get to this point of the show every day at 4 o'clock. All right, changes to the injury report. Limited participant yesterday, Javon Buller with his ankle issue, now full participant. That's a good sign for tomorrow. Edgerrin Cooper, foot and shoulder limited participant, now full participant today, so that is good. Dontavian Wicks with a calf issue was limited, now a full participant today. As we look at injury designations, Carl Brooks is out in this one. Jaden Reed is still out, will not be coming back like was being speculated yesterday. Lucas Van Ness with a foot injury that he tried to play with and then left quickly yesterday. He is still out in this one as well. And now Savion Williams with his foot issue also out and not playing. Questionables in this game. Quay Walker, limited participant all week. He is listed as questionable. Keyshawn Nixon with that neck. He had that stinger. Limited participation again today. Questionable for him. And then the other two questionable, Matthew Golden with his wrist injury and Nate Hobbs, the cornerback with his knee issue, also listed as questionable. I mean, if you look at these guys listed as questionable, I think Quay Walker you have to have at this point for sure. And you'd like to have Matthew Golden at this point.
I don't know if you for sure need Quay Walker. Isaiah McDuffie played pretty well last game.
Yeah, baby, but this is Jahmyr Gibbs. I want all hands on deck for Jahmyr Gibbs, with all due respect to what was going on last week against Derek Mason and Aaron Jones. I want all hands on deck in that game.
And that's fair. I get it. But at the same time, I'm not going to be freaking out if a Quay Walker's not on the field. And that, like, Nate Hobbs honestly forgot he was on the team at this point.
Yeah, by the way, Jordan Mason, not Derek Mason. Yeah. I said Derek Mason. I'm like, that's a former Titans wide receiver. So anyway, Jordan Mason. They don't scare me as much as Jahmyr Gibbs does. So that is something where I would like to see Quay Walker available. All right, do you have that clip now?
I do. Yep.
All right, Jeff Hafley, Packers defensive coordinator, talking about Micah Parsons. Check this out.
He thought it was really cool and wanted to do it. So how cool would it have been the other night if when we walked out on that final drive, Enter Sandman started to play and he closed out the game with the sack? I mean, he loved it. I think he didn't know. I said, do you know who Rivera is? He's like, no. And I told him, I said, he's the greatest closer of all time. And when he came out, they played Enter Sandman. He walked out of the bullpen. Everybody started screaming and going crazy, and you knew the game was over, whether it was 3 outs or 1 out or whatever it was. He was going to put him down. And I told Micah, that's who he is. He needs to put people to sleep. So I think he's a fan.
I love it. I also want them to turn the lights on and off and flash and all of that stuff. I mean, that would be sweet. But everybody has to be bought into the concept. This has to be a deal where the defense is on the field already, just not Micah, and the offense. And watch the other team the first time this happens, right? All of a sudden, it starts flashing, and there's a spotlight on Micah Parsons running onto the field at that moment on that last possession. The other team would be like, what is happening right now? Because nobody's done it in the National Football League. Nobody's incorporated music. Nobody's recorded entrance music or whatever else. Like, why don't field goal kickers have entrance music? Somebody got to bring this up to Mason Crosby on his show. He's back on Monday. We'll be at the Toy Drive, Blades Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. collecting toys. Mason will be out there with Mitch Thunder Nellis doing the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon from noon to 1 on Monday. If you want to meet Mason, he'll be out there. I want somebody to ask Mason Crosby. They should have their own music when they come out to kick field goals, not extra points, but kick field goals in games, Charlie, because they are kind of like a closer where you're coming out, all eyes are on you, you're on an island, go do your job.
Yeah, I could see why that would be cool. I guess at the same time, not every closer in the MLB has their own kind of entrance, and I think it's really
Diaz's entrance. Come on now.
Awesome. But I think also at the same time, when you have an entrance like that, for some guys, it just adds way more pressure to the whole situation that's already a really pressure-filled situation. I mean, closers, Edwin Diaz, these past couple seasons, when he's been healthy, at least on the field, it hasn't looked as good because I think all that pressure of him having this big entrance has gotten to him a little bit. I think some of these other guys, you see the same thing. And with kickers, there's too many other sounds and things happening around you versus like MLB, it really is just you and your catcher versus like you have to worry about all these other guys that are blocking in front of you. It's not really just kicking the ball through the upright. You already have so much on your mind. That would throw me off a little bit. And then for Micah Parsons, like I think it's a cool idea for sure. But then also you have to sound out the whole defense and wait for him to come out last in a clutch time moment in a game where the coaching staff is probably going to be. It would just
be the last possession. It wouldn't be on a certain third down play or fourth down play. But I would just do it. If there's a minute left to go in the game,
If you're up by 3?
The Lions just get the ball back. Jared Goff has the ball at his own 30. You're up 3. That's when you do it at home. And the Lions could do the same thing for Aiden Hutchinson if it was the same situation in Detroit. And you do it around certain guys coming out. I think they have to be pass rushers, right? I don't think it can be a corner. I'm not quite sure it could be a safety. I think it would have to. I mean, if Reggie White had his own theme music back in the day, how cool would that have been, man?
It would have been, I guess, pretty cool. But again, I think it just, for the players on the field, for the coaching staff, it takes away from the situation almost.
The question is this. What song would you pick for any Packers star? Totally up to you. Could be Jordan Love, could be Micah Parsons, to walk out to. What would that song be that you would want to see a Micah Parsons or Jordan Love or something like that walk out to? Because I think quarterbacks could walk out to a song too when they get the ball down 3, down 7 with a chance to go tie or win the game. I think they absolutely can. Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. If you go back in time, and I'm an old guy, you go back in time, the Dallas Cowboys, Emmitt Smith always used to take off his helmet, right? And then the NFL put in a rule that you couldn't take off your helmet on the field. And they wanted it to be about the team, not about the me. The NFL, I think, looks at the NBA and cringes because the NBA is all singular type deal. It's individual marketing around shoes and so forth, right? And coming up, whatever, and you talk about Steph Curry, you talk about Giannis, you talk about the Joker, and it's all singular marketing. Started back in the day with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, and that's when it all started, when they started getting their own shoes. In the NFL, they've always wanted it to be a team concept. That's why they want all these dudes to keep their helmets on and so forth, because they don't want it to be about a guy. So for the NFL to make this big a swing would be gigantic. I mean, think about the marketing deals that could come from some of these guys by simply attaching themselves to a song going forward. For instance, like when you hear, if you're a New York Yankees fan and you're in a bar or whatever, and Enter Sandman comes on, if you're a Yankees fan, man, you know you're thinking of Mariano Rivera. There's no question you're thinking of Mariano Rivera when that song comes on the radio or on in the bar, wherever you're at. And immediately you probably tell your friends like, oh man, I miss Mariano Rivera, man. I wish he was still on the Yankees, man. I miss that guy. Right? That's what it is, because you get attached to that song. I think it's a great idea. I absolutely love it. I wouldn't just limit it to Micah Parsons. I'd do it for Jordan Love. I'd do it for the kicker, for McManus. I would. Those 3 guys for certain, they would be the guys that would get that love kind of going forward. And you would start something in the National Football League. You would get criticized by some coaches. What is going on? It's not WWE, blah, blah, blah. They'd get all mad. But I think the players would absolutely freaking love it. And the fans would be even more behind it. I mean, the Packers out there did the whole skull clap or whatever. The whole fan section started doing it. The Badgers have jump around. No matter how bad they are, people wait to do jump around and then they leave. So they have that. Why not have something like that in Green Bay for your own guys?
I can see the vision. But you talked about some coaches and maybe some other teams being like, what are they doing? This is weird. This is out of the norm. The Packers are one of the most traditional franchises in the NFL. They don't change their jerseys very often. They have been in the same stadium forever. They don't change anything about any of that. Do you think that would stop them maybe from doing this and maybe do it after, let's say, a Panthers do it or Atlanta does it first?
I think the Cowboys will probably do it before everybody else because Jerry Jones will figure out a way to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They'll put a stage on the field.
The song will be sponsored. Like that, really. Now you're thinking, I got to stand up. Now you're thinking, right? So you bring those oldies Metallica and you have them play that song live on the field with Micah Parsons up there with like a microphone and rocking out with them. That would be sweet.
People already hate all the random halftime shows that happen at these games all the time. They would absolutely destroy that.
The craziest part about that sound clip is he didn't know who Mariano Rivera was.
Yeah, that's nuts too. I don't know how you don't like an athlete, just any kind of athlete. He's one of the greatest athletes that like my generation remembers now at this point. How do you not know who Mariano Rivera is?
Do you know who Adam Iwasa is?
No.
You will now. Adam Iwasa texting the Nicolay Talking text line 414-677-1250 says Adam and Wausau is tuning into the best show on the radio. Good to hear your voices, guys. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Adam.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
That's awesome. Good stuff. Let's go to CB, downtown Milwaukee. You're next on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. What's up, CB?
What's going on, man? Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family, man.
Happy Thanksgiving, buddy.
I'm thinking about maybe for Michael Parsons, maybe the Undertaker thing when the Undertaker used to come out, play that thing. You can go ahead and put him to bed, put him to sleep.
I like the Undertaker theme. That ain't too bad. The WWE Undertaker theme or whatever. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah, but now to get the fans riled up and jumped up and excited and whatnot. So, yeah, I like that.
I like that too. Thanks for the call. That Cult of a Personality song that CM Punk has in wrestling, that's like my favorite song. That used to be a theme song of mine before CM Punk was before anybody knew who CM Punk was. Back in the day, I used to have that as like my theme music on my show because I love that song. But that's another song that when you hear it, if you know wrestling at all, you think of CM Punk. Eye of the Tiger, if you're an old guy, you think of Hulk Hogan. I mean, there are a different music that's attached to different people, Charlie.
Well, I think of Rocky, actually. That's
another one.
Athlete,
Yeah.
That's Eye of the Tiger. I think that if I'm looking at a Micah Parsons, Enter Sandman's cool, but I feel like it's got to be something that's for him. Like if we're gonna pick a song for Micah Parsons, it's got to be signature to Micah Parsons. We can't take the Undertaker theme. We can't take the CM Punk theme. I think it's got to be something that is maybe made for a Micah Parsons like some of these wrestlers do. That'd be kind of cool if the Packers,
custom song.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Now you're gonna have to get in bed with like WWE or something because I'm not gonna expect the Packers to come up with the creative.
They're all on the same networks now and everything. You can figure it out that way.
Yeah, I guess. I love the concept. I love it. Oh, here's one for you. This is from the 608 in the Nicolay Talking text line. Jacob in Wauwatosa says, Hell's Bells is the obvious choice here. AC/DC.
Trevor Hoffman that had Hell's Bells.
See, look at you. See?
I'm kind of an old guy too, a little bit now. Yeah.
Coming around there, Charlie. That's what I say. Mason Crosby needs to be asked this damn question on Monday. And actually, he's going to be out at the toy drive. So I may just hold him over to start my show to ask him this question. Because I want to know like what his theme song would be.
Pick some boring country song or something. I feel like. You don't think?
Nah, man. I bet you Mason Crosby will pick some like hard rock type of music. I mean, what do you think he's gonna pick? Like Reba McEntire? Or something?
Not like Reba McEntire. Really, Chris Stapleton, like that White Horse song that everybody is using in the MLB. They use that one all the time.
Speaking of the Undertaker, Tommy Wirtz has arisen from his slumber on the couch. Yes, Tommy, Mason Crosby's song.
First of all, he's definitely picking Linkin Park.
Oh, there you go.
That's
that makes
100% what he would pick.
I get Linkin Park.
We had Dave, the guitar or the bass player on the show. Like he's picking Linkin Park 100%. I have no doubt in my mind. I already sent him the text. I'll see if we get the answer by the end of the show.
Linkin Park.
Okay,
now
Linkin
that
Park.
is not country. That's rock. That gets after it. I like that. Greg in where are you? In Waukesha. You're next on Nicolay Law Talking Text Line. What's up, Greg?
I don't know. Where am I, Sparky? Sometimes I don't know. But anyway, what about Smashing Pumpkins? What's the name of the song? Charlie, help me out, or Rami, or somebody. Despite all my rage, I'm still just a rat in a cage.
Bullet with butterfly wings.
Bullet
Is that what it's
with
called?
butterfly wings. Yes, that describes Micah Parsons' personal, to me personally. Despite all the rage, I am still, or maybe it just describes me. Despite all my rage, I am still just a rat in a cage. Anyway, just wanted to wish you guys happy Thanksgiving, and how about some Packers serving up some lion bone tomorrow night?
I'm in.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm in, man. That'd be a great Thanksgiving. That's for sure. If they take care of the Lions. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Greg. Greg and Waukesha tuning in. That's a good one.
That is a pretty good one. I never remember the name of the song, so that's crazy. I remember the name of that song.
I got one here to my phone. Sean downtown, being Wisconsin, Parsons should walk out easily to the stone cold Steve Austin walkout music, and then the fans all chug beers when he comes out in the fourth quarter.
All right, I kind of like that too. That's kind of fun.
That's pretty slick.
I mean, also though, still stealing somebody else's kind of thing. I feel like it's got to be something.
Yeah, but Austin has to like put his stamp on it. Like he's got to kind of like be there, or they got to show him like on the jumbotron.
Okay.
All right, Packer fans, let's go! And he chugs on the jumbotron, and they all chug it together. Then the music starts or something. I don't know.
We mix the defense stealing the skull chant, but everybody has 2 beers, and they just keep mashing them together in the stands. That'd be kind of cool. Just do that for Michael Parsons in the 4th quarter or something like that.
That'd be cool too. I mean, but see, we're having fun with it. It's not the no fun league. It's the National Football League. Have some fun. Bring some entertainment. That is what Vince McMahon was trying to do with the XFL when he first brought that in.
They did that when they allowed them to do celebrations, and this season they said no more celebrations.
Correct.
We don't like them anymore. Sorry.
Right. I don't understand. It makes so much sense. Yes, Tommy Wirtz.
I mean,
you're back again.
Sparky's definitely picking like Hark the what is it? Hark the Angels Sing. What is it? Hark,
Little Drummer Boy.
I was gonna make a Christmas.
That's my favorite song.
Of course,
Little Drummer Boy, my favorite Christmas song. Yes, for sure. Yes.
Bum bum.
Yes.
Win it.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Love Little Drummer Boy. I'm all about that song. Absolutely. Talking about Christmas songs that I like. That one right there. Jingle Bell Rock is really good though too. I like Jingle Bell Rock.
Carol of the Bells. That'd be kind of cool to come out too. The Hard Rock one. I don't know who that's by, but
I don't know either. But either way, this is a fun idea.
How can you possibly be like, I hate that they chuck up so many threes and also have the same take of
what WWE entrances? Yeah.
Absolutely, because it's entertaining. Chucking up all those threes is boring to watch. But now, again, back in the day when it was just a Milwaukee radio station, back in like 2005, 2006, when we started the station, when we had a lot of fun, we had a producer that we called Horny Dave back in the day. And every time he would come on there to talk, we played Me So Horny by 2 Live Crew. Every time he came on the air.
Really?
We had theme songs for callers, for producers, for all that stuff that we would have ready to play.
You told me I couldn't have my theme song, though, so now I'm mad about that.
It's different time, different era, Charlie.
You would be like, Charlie, what's your song? Like the entire time. You would play the wrong one.
No,
with how many?
He said I couldn't have my song because it was Gilbert Brown's song, and that's he's the only one who can have it. That's the only
Big Papa
that was my favorite
Gilbert
song.
Brown's song.
Listen to it before every game.
That's Gilbert's song.
I let it slide today, but he totally mixed our names up again today during the show. Like he would play the wrong song if we had our own producer music anyway.
You're lucky I even remember where I'm at half the time. So let's not be greedy about Sparky and his brain at this point. Okay, good. Coming up next, Zach LaVine is being rumored to be on the block in Sacramento. There was a report out earlier today that the Bucks have done some background checking on him. I'm not sure why, because they've been linked to him for like the last 3 years, but we'll get into that coming up straight ahead. Bucks and Heat tonight, NBA Cup action. Anything on Giannis yet? Still waiting on Giannis. Okay, great. When the Bucks win, you win at Wendy's. After every Bucks win, stop by any participating Wisconsin Wendy's for a free small vanilla or chocolate frosty classic. No purchase necessary. This offer is only good for 24 hours after win. So act fast. Get that free small frosty classic at Wendy's. That's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live right here the day before Thanksgiving. See Sparky Fifer, Charlie Usen over there, other side of the glass.
I'll come fix it.
Hanging out with you. Just leave it. I'll just stand over here. I'm not going to screw with the cameras anymore.
No, it's following you again. Okay.
This is the thing. I was asking before the break, any update on Giannis yet? During the break, the Bucks sent out a tweet. The Bucks tweet is a picture of Giannis walking into the arena. Cool. Giannis is wearing a t-shirt. Cool. Giannis is wearing a t-shirt of Jordan. The t-shirt with Jordan has Jordan doing I don't know what's going on after you got on that 3-point barrage against Portland in that playoff game, right? Like, I don't know, man. What do you know? And then the Bucks do the same shoulder emoji, kind of a shrug above. So we still don't know if Giannis is playing. Just trolling the fan base, all we're doing.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're going to post a picture, if you're even going to go through that process, that means more likely in my mind that he is playing, right?
No, it doesn't. What it means is they know they're going to get a bunch of reaction to Giannis because everybody's asking if he's playing or not. He posted their report an hour or two ago.
Yeah, but the fact that they haven't posted their report, the Milwaukee Bucks, doesn't that mean something to you? Even a little bit?
No. Don't get me excited. You know what Logic says? Logic says he's playing because it's a cup game tonight.
100%.
That's what Logic says.
Well, the cup's the biggest thing in the world.
Especially to him. So for me, I think he's playing regardless if he's got a third arm hanging off of him or whatever. He's going to figure out how to go play an NBA Cup game tonight against the Heat. The Heat, by the way, have held Giannis to a point per game average significantly lower than anybody else in the National Basketball Association. I want to say it's like 20 points a game they've held him to in his career. That is pretty bonkers if you think about it. But at the same time, we also know Eric Spoelstra has kind of had the Giannis number for quite some time. So he has struggled against the Heat in his career. And the Heat themselves are getting a bunch of guys that are going to play tonight. Wiggins is playing tonight, and some other guys. So they're going to be full go, ready to go. Tyler Hero just came back a game or two ago as well for the Miami Heat. You know he loves playing the Bucks, being a Southeastern Whitnell guy or Greenfield guy, I guess you'd say, but he played at Whitnell High School. So you know he's going to be pumped up for this game. It's a sizable game if Giannis plays. If Giannis doesn't play, don't bother watching it. Don't even turn it on.
That's so mean. Ryan Rollins might be good. He might play really well.
I bet you they get drilled. If Giannis doesn't play, I think they lose by 20.
You can watch like the G League games. Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be playing down there. They're up there.
That G League team, Oladipo, Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, they got some guys on that team. Giannis's brother Alex even hit a 3 in the last game. I mean, they've got some guys that are former NBA players or borderline NBA players. That Herd team is a lot of fun to watch, guaranteed.
Always. Giannis, you were correct, is only scoring 20 points per game in his career against the Miami Heat in 38 games played. The number 2 team is the Raptors. The number 4 team is the Hornets. In 39 games,
Warriors are 3.
The Hornets, has scored 21.6 points per game in his career against the Hornets for some reason.
Why does he suck against the Hornets?
I don't know. Out of all the teams that are on this list,
doesn't make any damn sense.
That's why I had to point it out.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he shoots well enough. He shoots 55% against them.
Hey, if you're talking about going to a Bucks home game, whenever that may be, take the free shuttle over there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Park your car in the parking garage, be all set. Now, it's not exactly free, but it's free from the aspect of this. All they require is one of 2 things to get on the shuttle. First of all, it's not like you have to spend $40 or $50 to park either, right? If you go downtown, you're going to spend a lot of money, especially depending on who they're playing and what else is going on downtown at that point. You have to make a same day game wager or make a purchase in the Potawatomi Sportsbook, obviously through the Potawatomi Sportsbook kitchen. Ask for your bracelet, and you are ready to rock and roll. They did the exact same thing for Brewers games. It was a huge smashing success, so they're doing it for the Bucks home games as well. The shuttles leave 1 hour and 15 minutes before the game. That's when they start moving, and then they start heading back starting at the beginning of the third quarter. All the way through the game and a little while after the game. So take advantage of it. Go to Potawatomi.com to find out more information on Bucks shuttles to and from home games. Again, Potawatomi.com for that. Speaking of the Bucks, Michael Scotto with a report earlier today. He's with Hoops Hype saying that the Bucks in his rumor piece that he did on hoopshype.com, did some background checks on Zach LaVine, which is common for the Bucks, just kind of, making sure their I's are dotted, the T's are crossed before they make an official pursuit of anybody. But Zach LaVine is making like $47 million for the next couple of years. And the other thing that has been brought up is, boy, this works for the Bucks because Kyle Kuzma and the owner of the Kings apparently are partners in owning a professional women's volleyball team or whatever the case may be, that Kuzma would make sense going to Sacramento. Well, the problem is you don't have enough salaries without moving Miles Turner to get that deal done for Zach LaVine. Now, would Zach LaVine fix the Bucks' problems? You'd have to have a third team involved, have to have a third team in order to get this done. Would it fix their problems of having that number 2 score? Nikolai Law Talker, text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250 on the socials at WI Sports Radio. Do you know what I think of when I think of Zach LaVine?
What's that?
Loser. That's what I think of. Loser. Big L. That's what I think of. Everywhere that dude has been, they've lost. He has not done anything on a team that's won anything. Now, you could say it's bad luck, coincidence, whatever. I don't think I want to go down that road, and I don't think I want to deal with what comes with him. Now, if we're going to talk about the Sacramento Kings and where I'd rather go, not that the winning and losing is much different with Zach LaVine than it is with this player, but this player is half the cost. Another former Bull like LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. I know he's like 6 years older. He's 36. He's got like 2 years left on his deal. He's like making $20-some million a year. You could do Kuzma for DeRozan straight up and call it a day if you wanted and been done with it. And I will gladly take DeMar DeRozan over Kyle Kuzma tomorrow if I'm able to get DeRozan on this team and shed myself of Kuzma. Even though Kuzma's playing well, defensively he's helping. I get it. But DeRozan's going to give you that 20-plus a night score to go along with Giannis, to go along with Miles Turner. If you go shooting for the stars and go, oh, I want Ja Morant, which apparently the Grizzlies, as of right now, according to Scotto, aren't interested in trading Ja Morant. Timberwolves really want him? That's crazy. Why would you put Ja Morant with Anthony Edwards? Think that's going to work out well. Either way, when you start talking about if you're going to go for Ja Morant, if you're going to go for any of these big name stars, do you know who's going to get traded in that deal besides Kyle Kuzma?
Who's that?
Ryan Rollins is gone because that's the only young piece that you have right now that the rest of the league looks at and goes, I'd like him for a little while. That'd be good. You don't have much first round draft pick capital. So you've got literally a first that you can deal right now if you do this before the deadline. Now, draft night, that's different. Now you can trade yours and that one if you want to in 31 or 32. But Rollins is gone. So I hope we all understand if they go shooting for the stars like they did with Lillard, like they did with Drew Holiday, I'm pretty sure Ryan Rollins is going to go as part of that deal. AJ Green may go as part of that deal. Making $9 million, that's a contract that others would gladly accept, especially if they're looking for shooting on that team to surround Joel Embiid, let's say. If it's Paul George or something like that, that would make a lot of sense, Charlie.
It would, I guess, for the 76ers.
Yes.
I don't know. I look at this Bucks team, and I don't immediately go, the biggest problem right now is their second scoring option. Ryan Rollins has done that enough. We've seen other guys step up, and a Kyle Kuzma have some big scoring games here so far this season.
How much better would you feel about the Bucks? A nice Giannis doesn't play if DeRozan was on this team with Rollins, with the rest of them.
Not any better. If I'm being completely honest with you,
I'd feel significantly better.
You talk about Zach LaVine being a loser in his career. DeMar DeRozan isn't much better.
I said that when I talked about DeRozan, but the difference is he's half the price.
He's half the price. 5 years older in a situation like this.
He's got 2 years left on his deal. He got this year and next year.
He doesn't give you any defense at all, along with Zach LaVine. And the Bucks are currently sitting at 21st in the league in points given up by their opponents. And the teams below them are the Washington Wizards, Utah Jazz, Chicago Bulls, Sacramento Kings, Indiana Pacers.
Horrible teams.
New Orleans Pelicans, Portland Trailblazers, Charlotte Hornets, and the Brooklyn Nets. All teams that cannot play defense for the life of them. The Bucks are also in the bottom 10 of the league in rebounding as well. There's issues on this team that these two players that we're talking about right now do not fix at all for this Milwaukee Bucks squad. I get Giannis coming back does help with some of those things, but it's still an issue when he's on the court. He's played half the season and they're still in the same spot.
This is a great point. You made it for me. You're not getting any better there anyhow. It doesn't matter. You're going to have to figure out how you're going to outscore teams. That's why they decided to go with all these three-point shooters and said, look, we shot at a high percentage last year. We're going to shoot more threes this year, be able to score more points because we're going to focus more on it, and we're going to outscore teams. The idea or the myth of, oh boy, they're going to be a top 5 defense or top 10 defense. No chance, no how. It's not happening. So you're going to have to outscore guys. And that's why having a 2 option in DeMar DeRozan, that's better than Gary Trent, that's better than AJ Green or anybody else that you're going to put out there. If we go out there and it's Rollins, DeRozan, Giannis, Portis, and Miles Turner, if that's your 5, great. I feel okay in that situation going forward with this Bucks team if they decide to go that way. They want to keep Portis on the bench to be that guy coming off the bench. That's fine. You could have Porter Jr. and Portis off the bench to give you 2 scores to make you at least 7 deep to where you can score the basketball a little bit better.
I get where you're coming from, but the best teams in the leagues aren't the ones that are outscoring their other opponents. You can win some games that way by trying to have these shootouts, but you're not getting any farther than I think you are right now with this current roster as is with a DeMar DeRozan or a Zach LaVine. You're sitting in the same spot. I think eventually here you do have to find ways to play better defense. I think that's part of the reason they've put Kyle Kuzma into this role that they have this season, to get him to focus more on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think you can do that with Zach LaVine. I don't think you can do that with a DeMar DeRozan at all, especially at this point in their careers where they are these veteran players that are what they are. You know what you're getting out of them. There's got to be somewhere else that you have to look first before automatically just jumping to you need a second scorer right now. I'd rather you don't do anything than just go and do that for the hell of it.
Got a bunch of text messages coming in here on the Nicolay Law Talk text line. You can dial it up as well, 414-677-1250. Hey, Sparky, this comes from my heart, my brother. I'm thankful to hear you again along with the others for real. God bless, man. From the 414, you are welcome. I'm glad to be back on the air with everybody else and having this thing up and going. I'm thankful to be statewide outside of just Milwaukee, to be on in Wausau, to be on in Duluth and Superior on the game, and be on in Green Bay and Appleton on WNFL. How cool is it? Got another one here from 262. You can't pair DeMar DeRozan with Giannis. Can't shoot the 3 and space the floor. Okay. Gary Trent Jr. That's everybody's guy, right? As far as what they can do and can't do. Gary Trent Jr. is shooting 38.7% from 3, is a 39% career 3-point shooter. DeMar DeRozan in his career is shooting 30% from 3, which is not good. DeMar DeRozan this year is shooting, or no, in the regular season this year is shooting 36% from 3. DeMar DeRozan in the last 10 is shooting 43.5% from 3 at this point. So how much of a difference would there be between DeRozan and Gary Trent? Don't know. But Gary Trent obviously would come off the bench. Do you know what DeRozan can do? Create his own shot. DeRozan can get out and run and finish in transition as well. Those are things DeRozan can do. And I know he's old, but those are some of the things he can do. We can't talk about this anymore because we got to get to our guy. Charlie Larson of the Milwaukee Admirals joins us next. Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. See Sparky Fifer, Charlie Usen over there. From one Charlie to another, joining us now. You watch him on streaming on X and on YouTube at WI Sports Radio. Charlie Larson of the Milwaukee Admirals joins us. Charlie, good afternoon. Big night tonight with the Milwaukee Admirals, the night before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Thanksgiving Eve. Who doesn't want to play in Thanksgiving Eve? This is a pretty popular night, right? Everyone's home before they get out to the bars for, what they might call a blackout Wednesday, right? Come to the Admirals game, have some fun.
Yeah, and preferably do not black out at the Admirals game on a
Don't
blackout
black out
Wednesday.
the Admirals game.
Yes.
No.
Yes, please do not do that. Talk about Friendsgiving. Still seats available, right?
Yeah, we have this special on tonight, Friendsgiving. It's kind of become more popular because people, we all love our families, but we love to be around our families. But you love to be around your friends, and so you can come to tonight's game. Still, game's at 7:00. It's almost 5. You come to tonight's game with 5 of your friends for $66, $11 a ticket, 6 tickets for $66. It's a great deal. You can't beat that.
No doubt, and you're collecting food as well.
Oh yeah, I guess that maybe I should have led with that, Sparky.
It's okay, Charlie. It's all right. Lead with Blackout Wednesday instead. It's fine, Charlie. It's
instead
fine,
of helping
Charlie.
people out. Yeah, right. So we have food drives. Actually, we have games tonight and Saturday. Food drives at both games, benefiting Nourish MKE. Bring a non-perishable food item for either game. Get a BOGO ticket offer. Buy one, get one. And that's good through games in January. Excuse me. So it's a great deal. A good deal for the person bringing it. Good deal for Nourish MKE, and good deal for the people of southeastern Milwaukee that might be a little bit short this holiday season.
Charlie, I want to get your thoughts real quick. And obviously, if this was Harris Tour, it would be great too. But I'll take your thoughts on it too. Big deal in the city of Milwaukee with a Milwaukee Panther Arena and a designation labeled on Milwaukee Panther Arena. For those that missed it, explain it and explain what it means.
Yeah, so the Common Council just voted the other day unanimously to designate Milwaukee Panther Arena and High Life Theater as historic landmarks, and that means nobody can basically touch the building without going through a lot more process because it's historic. Change the exterior of it or anything like that, and there's been some talk about tearing down Panther Arena to build a hotel, and it rightfully so gets people excited, right? There's a lot of emotion and passion involved, and especially for us. But I do want to say, it's a long way off, right? Like that wouldn't, it's not like it would happen tomorrow or anything like that. Like that was just one idea floated out there. It's not necessarily happening or anything like that.
Well, I think it's a big deal for the Admirals and for the Milwaukee Panthers, keeping you guys in that home, which you guys, especially Harris Tour, obviously have spent a bunch of money to keep updated and keep on top of things, and all the different concession stands with local flair to them and stuff like that. I think it's a great deal. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I understand the Bradley Center was built to watch hockey. They were trying to get an NHL team at some point. I much prefer watching the Admirals at Panther Arena.
I honestly agree with you. I was at the Bradley Center for the first, 15 years of my career. And did we put 15,000 people in there a couple times a year? And it was exciting and it was awesome. Yeah, and that was great. But right, we average 6,000 fans a game, right? And so at Panther Arena, that's 2/3 full. At the Bradley Center, that was 2/3 empty. So everything here is better for us. It doesn't have the suites, but the atmosphere is better. We're the number one tenant here at the Bradley Center. It was always the Bucks first, and we get that. That's no slight to the Bucks. And so just being here, it's a better atmosphere. And like you said, Harris is putting a lot of money into this. The Wisconsin Center District has also put some money into this to, if you notice now compared to 5 years ago, the floors are better. The concessions are so much better. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much better. So a lot of improvements have gone on here. Great place to watch an Admirals game or Panther game or Wave or whoever.
Yeah, no question about it. There he is, Charlie Larson of the Milwaukee Admirals. Friendsgiving tonight. Again, 6 tickets for $66. Go check it out tonight. Plus, they play on Saturday night. Same deal there, too. Charlie Larson, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Sparky. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family and to the other Charlie as well.
Absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving, Charlie, and to everybody over there at the Milwaukee Admirals. All right, prediction time here, Charlie, on the way out. We'll do 2 games. Let's first start with the Bears and the Eagles, since you are Chicago, Charlie, and a Bears fan. I'll start first. I'll say the Eagles win this game 38-20.
All right. A little bit of blowout. I get that. I say the Bears win this game 21-17.
Bears Nation will go crazy if the Bears win that game 21-17. All right, Packers, Lions. We'll have the Green Bay football postgame show powered by Lakeland University tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock. Tommy Wirtz and myself. What's your prediction on Packer game?
I'm going to go opposite of Lomas on this one, not with the score, but I think the Packers are going to take this game. I think it's going to be a little bit of a high-scoring game, actually. I'm going to say 27-24 Packers.
I've got 27-17 Packers in that one. Charlie, thanks for everything. As always, happy Thanksgiving to everybody involved. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Thanksgiving. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Everybody, have a safe night tonight. Be careful. Toodles, Wisconsin.